All right, there we go.
Are we live?
We are in fact live.
We on?
We are on.
Hello, everyone. How is everyone? How are you today, Wooly? How you doing, man?
All right, not bad. Okay, so I'm gonna assume, based on last week's little Miguel reference, that you saw Spider-Verse.
No.
No. Okay, I went to go see it last night.
No, I did not.
Okay.
I did not see Spider-Man. No, what's been happening is that I don't know what's going on. I don't. Maybe it's a comic book people or whatever. But nobody gives a shit about spoilers times a million anymore. Like scrolling through like any social media is like, man, I really loved it, and here's like an animated GIF of like a cam rip of the movie.
Yeah.
And it's oh my god, it's crazy.
I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna keep saying this every time it comes up, but like I'm getting close to perfecting my complete backed out of a ton of social media. I've aggressively minimized the amount that I'm consuming day to day. It's making me happier. And I'm definitely not getting like wild from left field spoilers as much as I used to, which means I can enjoy things a lot more these days. And I really do like. I did, man. I got into Spider-Verse. Went to watch it. It was late by, I guess, a week or two, but I didn't get spoiled on it.
So like I have essentially seen the entire movie by accident.
Well, fuck. So okay. There's also like there's different layers, right? Because there's the it's been a while since, but I always bring it up. Like there's dude in your Twitter sending it to you directly. Going,
that's the most ridiculous,
insane, right? And then there's similarly Dark Souls 3 release day, PlayStation feed, fucking a pop-up video for people that are currently streaming. Hey, do you want to see the last boss being streamed right now?
I could, and I remember what killed me about that is that I saw its name.
Yeah.
Like I didn't see the boss. The boss was just like a red blur, but I saw the name and I'm like, it's the morning of the release, man.
So that shit is just, the peak of unavoidable nonsense. But no, it's been something that it's gotten a lot more palatable and better by. I guess I just like I cut out a lot of the randomness coming my way, I suppose. So thankfully, a lot of that gone. There's oftentimes too, like, if you follow cool Twitter accounts that are artists, like sometimes artists will just be like, "Yo, I'm drawing my favorite character who happens to be the thing that happens,"
And so like
in the third act of the movie or whatever.
Here's my take on Indian Spider-Man. I think his name is Parvati, P something.
It's
I
like
really
Peter
loved
Parker,
it.
but not.
I really loved it when he was like this and was like this, and oh my god! And I'm like, I think the movie came out yesterday.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, as you can imagine from the way it's been set up, like everything in it is just like nonstop references and deep cuts and pulls and stuff. Super awesome. Yeah, Spider-Man India being there is like super fun. Although I'm a bit sour that they didn't use the reveal outfit that he had, because when you look up Spider-Man India on Google, take a look at the default costume you get. That thing is so much cooler than the one that they gave him. But anyways, it's basically Spider-Man with the pants, and then he's got like the kind of like the spider pattern going down the middle of the fabric, and it hangs and creates secondary animation when he swings. It's super cool. The one that they made is not as cool, But anyway,
so I'm in a very strange space with Spider-Verse. So first of all, I still very much want to see the movie, but I'm not exactly jonesing to go see it in a theater because of this. But now I'm in a state in which I've like, okay, I know the entire plot of the film, all the way up until to be continued.
Oh wow,
including post credits. Just Osmo, like I can't even. All right,
yeah,
but because of that, I'm now in a weird place of like the movie's pretty long, right? It's like 2 hours
it's
long.
2:19, 2:20. It's insanely
2:19.
long.
So like I'm now sitting here going like, well, I know that happens probably at the beginning, and then this happens in the middle, and then this happens at the end. I'm like, well, what do they fill up the rest of the movie with?
So I mean, two things. One, everyone disagrees with me on the India costume. That's fine. I like it aesthetically. I always thought it was dope. I imagine it would look too similar to like the rest of the regular Spider-Mans running around, so the current redesign stands out more. But either way, I like the original. Now, what can I say? The way that the events unfold it's really interesting because it's so fucking amazing. Like, the first one is so amazingly animated that like this time around, it felt like they tried to challenge themselves and like push it even further and harder and do more creative things with the colors, with the composition, with, you know, the emotional tone of scenes. So there's a lot of like parental angst in the movie, and like every time that those moments happen, you see different types of like watercolor backgrounds or sharp ink usage or like high contrast for depending on where you are, what the setting is, and they play with it in such really awesome ways that like I don't think anything in that movie is particularly unpredictable. There's like one or two moments that are just like, oh shit, whoa, what the fuck? But a lot of it is very like, yeah, okay, I would imagine that's what would happen next. But it's more about how they do it, definitely. This is one of those examples of like they kind of make a point almost of, you know how like Peter Parker has his Uncle Ben moment? Well, obviously we're gonna like echo that idea.
A lot of that.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of that, but it's more like, what does that mean for different Spider-Men, and what is that, you know, how does that like take place, you know, in a way that like I guess you just kind of deal with like the you know, the human moment of what every character has to deal with in that regard, and so on. It's really, really good at like the little subtle interactions and like the way dialogue flows out. It's like notably natural. They do it like, it's obviously fun with the action, and they're doing tons of crazy things. They've already proven that they can kill it at that. In this case, I feel like they kill it at characters standing and talking. And
that's hard.
Yeah, they do such a good job of that. And like it helps when standing and talking is also immensely creative. So Spider-Punk standing and talking is visually interesting at all times. And because he's punk, he's breaking the rules of like just standing around. He's fucking just whatever is happening is, you know, anti-establishment, and like him simply existing in frame at all times is like a super cool thing, and they call attention to it. You know, they're like, what, like there's literally like a line at one point that's like, how are you even cooler under the mask? It's ridiculous, you know?
And he says, I was this cool the whole time.
Yeah. And this is from a character who used to just be fucking, it was just the outfit with the mohawk, and you're like, yep.
With the mohawk on it, yeah.
There's nothing to it, right? Obviously there's some gags in there that are like, I feel like attacked and targeted, because as the only Scarlet Spiders fan in the world, Ben Reilly gets his fucking comeuppance.
You are not the only Scarlet Spider fan in the world. Lots of people like Ben Reilly.
It's so fucking cool to see him in there, and then immediately he's not only thrown under the bus, he moves under there and resides under the bus for the entirety. Scarlet Spider is awesome, and he gets nothing. It's great. I can live in that world. He's just a punchline. But I kind of, when I was laughing really hard, and Punch Mom was like, "Why were you like we were laughing at most of the moments, but she's like, why were you laughing so specifically at that one?" And it's because I was thinking about, one, how I like Scarlet Spider, how I get made fun of for liking Scarlet Spider, and how people probably are like, "Oh, this is another almost Kotal Khan like fucking
Oh yeah, you
wheelchair
are
moment,
magnetized to
right?
cool looking characters. The job for no reason.
But then I also identified something else that I'm like, wait, I like I always am like, yo, back in the day, what was up with it? Why did I like it? I'm like, aesthetically, I liked how he looked, right? I'm like, what was that? And I was like, oh, I realized something. Now I feel, and maybe I'm wrong on this timeline. Anyone who knows Spider-Man like the back of their hand will probably be able to correct me. But from my timeline, getting into Marvel stuff back in the day, the thing that we like and see a lot now is Spider-Man with casual outfits. So if we see Spider-Man with a jacket, Homecoming style, if we see Spider-Man with the way Miles rocks it with a hoodie, with a backpack, right? Tim's, Jordans, like there's all these little layers of like, ooh, the Spider-Man outfit plus like streetwear is a really cool look, right? We're super down with that. Back when Scarlet Spider first came around, the blue ripped sleeve hoodie and the Sharpie for a logo was the first example of that I had ever really seen that I like recall. And I was like, I love that look of Spider-Man with like a casual outfit dropped on top of it as opposed to just the traditional costume or like the different variations of the cool outfits for the action figure, you know? I remember seeing that look with the loose kind of like informality of that blue hoodie, and I was like, oh shit, I like that a lot. And that's kind of the thing we like now, where they take a Spider-Man, give him punk rock fucking mohawk and put a studs on him, you know? So I'm like, oh yeah, that explains why I liked him, especially when he was running around with Venom and Spider-Man in their very traditional full outfits for Planet of the Symbiotes, you know? And so with that, you know, and of course Gwen's hoodie is another cool little addition to it and so on. But yeah, anyway, all that to say that the movie takes a very like, it takes a pretty predictable concept, obviously, with like, you know, going into the multiverse. And I think a lot of people are also like, okay, like multiverse is a thing, it's happening a bunch, we're touching on it a whole lot now, how do we keep this interesting? And fortunately the answer is just compelling characters can tell a compelling story.
Well, the one of the other reasons is like just more like how many of these motherfuckers can you fit into a single frame?
Yeah, certainly, right? But really, like, it's like the reason why this is good, it's enjoyable and it works, even though we're approaching like saturation with multiversing, is because Miles Morales is a great character, and his parents are fantastic, right? Gwen is a great character, and same for her, you know, parentals, her parent. And like I feel as if when you get to see again, obviously old Peter is you know a fun character as well, and like that stands out so much more than the actual like universe hopping nonsense that kind of you expect to get tired of, you know. So
I don't know, man. I think
I
multiverses are just starting up.
they are just starting up, and I think if you don't do a
about?
good job making us caring about who's going through those portals, then we're gonna check the fuck out mentally. But they did an excellent job making you give a fuck, you know. And then secondary to that stuff being really fun and compelling is, oh yeah, it's Miguel from fucking Spider-Man 2099. Remember that loser? God, what a dweeb, right?
He's
Like,
buff now.
yeah, and you know, and then like, oh, remember the fucking, yes, there's all the little remember that, like all of the little like cameos and bits and pieces are there for you to acknowledge and remember, but they absolutely take like not even second wheel but third wheel to just how good the character moments are, you know. It was kind of crazy that at the end of a nearly 2.5 long hour animated movie, which animation never goes that long, right?
It's the longest Western animated movie ever.
It's insane that they went that long. And at the end of it, when they hit you with that, yeah, it's a to be continued. Punch Mom.
Don't worry though, it's next year. Just kidding. It's actually 10 years from now.
Punch Mom was like, "Aw," you know, and I was like, "Oh no, that's fine." This was so dense. There was so much set up, and then so much happened that I'm like, yeah, I like the amount of stuff that there was still being set up in the last 10 minutes. I had that fear where I'm like, well, don't set this up only to give us 5 minutes of it and then bump the credits, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like there were still interesting things happening all the way through, and it would have sucked to just like ham fist and race towards finishing it right when they were doing stuff. So no, it was dense, it was a good movie, and then we're fine to get a third part. So it's going to be Into, Across, and then Beyond.
I
the
feel like
Spider-Verse.
maybe this is just a gut reaction based off of nothing, but I feel like Beyond the Spider-Verse is the naming convention is either going to go back to being small scale or going like literally beyond the Spider-Man license.
I mean, that certainly could be the implication, right? If you want to talk about the direct things happening in the movie, Into the Spider-Verse did bring you into it, and then Across does take you across it. So yeah, Beyond could go that way, but you certainly also got to remember at the end it is a Spider-Man movie, and I sure imagine Marvel doesn't want too many of their toes stepped on, especially considering that this thing is blowing their current efforts out of the water aggressively.
I have to say, like, I had you mentioned the multiverse fatigue, and I have to say it had this interesting conversation when I was talking to Paige about this, and she just had this look on her face, and she's like, I'll be honest, the instant I hear the word multiverse, my brain just kind of leaves. And I'm like, yeah, you're kind of right. Like, this is the good one. This is the one that is good, but like it all of a sudden, like, it's everything is your multiverse. And you're completely muted.
Sorry about that. Weird. Okay. No, I actually hit the button. Yeah, it absolutely does. And then you have the part where you mentally check out because you're tired of the concept. But there's a thing that happens as well that where did I touch on this? It was a game we played at some point recently. But when you get into multiversing conceptually, you fuck around too hard, and it means that your consequences don't matter. The small things don't matter
for shit.
Because who cares, actually? And people dying is irrelevant, and stakes are always small because there's always more. So you cross a line that you can't uncross.
Do you remember when we used to watch Rick and Morty, but we wouldn't tell anybody because people who watched Rick and Morty were so visibly and intensely embarrassing that you didn't even want to admit that you watched it?
Sure.
Even in the first season, that show established that the characters are aware that they're in an infinite multiverse. So every time a character died, they would just literally reach into a green portal and pull the same fucking character out and go, okay, nothing happened.
Right.
And so it's a comedy show, so there's no stakes or whatever. But when you attach that to like a real drama property or something, and you just establish like, oh yeah, it's infinite, anything can happen. It's like, it's hard to reestablish stakes unless you make them emotionally personal or what happened. Like Bayo, somebody in the chat just said Bayo.
That's what
How much can I fucking care about any of those dead bitches when there's a million?
That's what I was gonna. Yeah, I was gonna like. It was Bayo that I was talking about this same concept with recently, where you just don't have any reason to give a fuck because everything is disposable. There's always more, and and it's hard. It's hard to tell a compelling story when you have infinitely disposable characters and worlds. And there's also the part where like, and this goes back to me to a lot of other movies, but it's like the threat of the end of everything becomes so it's too big to really think about. And B, like, it's just, that's also tired, The idea that the stakes here are literally all of existence, is that all the time and everything. You're like, all right, it doesn't have to be that every time, guys, We get tired of that. So
I always go back to Mass Effect, which you're closing in on, of like, and you're doing Citadel, right? Like, Citadel is small scale. some drama, and then the party and hanging out, and then it's like back to saving the galaxy, and it's like multiverse stuff, like you're saying, is like save the world, save the galaxy, save the universe. Nah, fuck that. Save the entirety of conceptual existence.
You know,
like that's a lot. That's a lot.
And meanwhile, all you really want as an audience, whether you know it or not, is for characters you like to come of age, overcome, and learn something about themselves. You know,
it's
like
it's
all
especially
you want.
silly with. Sorry, after you.
No, I'm like, all you really want is personal character growth. The very extremely small scale conclusion of Disco Elysium is just a personal revelation inside of one person, and it has more meaning than a million fucking MCU movies that ended with like city to global disaster, you know? Or like averting city to global disaster. It's so much more meaningful when one person that you care about is able to just grow. That's all that really matters, man.
Oh, from what I can tell from Across the Spider-Verse, they did a really great job in dodging that in terms of multiverse threat, blah, blah, blah. But it's like the emotional core of something like Spider-Man is, I bet Peter wished he had been a little bit faster that one time Gwen was falling. And like, that's like the core.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how big you make it. If that's the core, you can relate.
And like, you know, that and the other part, I guess, is like, and this applies to a lot of superhero things, but it's like, it would be so cool to be able to soar through the streets and do all that cool stuff, but are you sure you want the bad shit? Because the bad shit really, really sucks, you know? And there's always a like, how do we make the proposition of the what's the word I'm looking for? The not self-insert, whatever, the word for when you create a character that you want to visualize yourself as, and that's the appeal, is like imagining yourself as like having those powers. Yeah. Anyway, like the power fantasy. Yeah. You want to make the proposition of the power fantasy suddenly have a cost that someone might reconsider for a moment or so. That's often what they do, you know. So, in any case, yeah, this is a...
so historically, hey, Spider-Man, thwip. Oh, wait, Spider-Man's life in every version of Spider-Man I've ever seen has been a complete disaster.
Awful, right?
It sucks ass to be Spider-Man.
Yeah, to the point where, at least as far as the comics go, from what I can tell on the outside from memes, there's a concerted effort to just keep him away from Mary Jane. They, you know, like, by all means, because like you can't have that. There needs to be relationship disaster.
I don't want to talk about Paul on this podcast.
Fine. Well, but it's fucking great, and it's a marvel of like, choose the word, of animation, fucking just excellence. They have overshadowed their previous efforts. They've challenged themselves with like new levels of difficulty in animation and crushed it.
There's a cute little shot very early in the movie where Miles like zips up a staircase that is just visually astonishing. It's so cool.
And then they also like, they take something like the way you saw the first movie, and for some people it was like the frame rate had a bit of a like, oh, I'm not used to seeing it like this, and it's not smooth. I don't know. Like, there's a bit of, you know, some people had that kind of reaction to it. I was like, no, this looks really, really cool. If you could appreciate stylistically what they're going for. In this case, like, the different dimension characters moving in different ways is in
next
canon,
to each other within the same shot.
Yes, it's so much more canonically like explainable and awesome to see, that you want to see those little things. You want to see little stop motion characters moving in stop motion, or live action things moving in live action, you know? And they do an amazing job mixing and matching characters moving at different frame rates in the same scene. It's insane, you know? If you had to look at any given, like in the trailers, they show you like there's a chase, you know, where like a billion Spider-Men are chasing Miles, and It's like if you had to imagine like one animator taking care of one character in each one of these scenes, you know, like that is a gargantuan effort in some cases, and like they overlap it, but it doesn't become noise except for the times that they want it to be. There are some scenes where they want you to look in the background and go, that's a big indiscernible blur of red webs.
But then when you hit the space bar at home and you can go, oh, Marvel versus Capcom Spider-Man is there.
Sure, right, yeah. Like they it's very clear when they want you to be able to make out like this and that in the individual ones, and then when they want it to just be a katamari of Spider-Mans rolling in your direction, it looks like that too. Fucking great movie, man. Yeah. So
I have an interesting perspective on this, because I think what's happening with me and Across the Spider-Verse is exactly what happened with me and Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which is there's a certain type of film that exists in a I'm gonna say a postmodern spoiler state, in that I don't even care. I want to look at the movie.
yes.
Right? You could have handed me the script to Across the Spider-Verse, and I could have read that whole goddamn thing, and I get to go, yeah, I don't give a shit. I want to see the pretty pictures, because this is a fucking cinematic fucking like explosion of art, right? I want to see it.
There, here, can we hit emote only for a second?
Yeah, we can.
All right. It didn't work for me, so someone hit that.
I can do it.
Thank you.
Maybe I can
Okay.
do it. I don't know if I'm even a mod in this.
Whatever.
I am.
Okay. There is when you want to talk about just seeing the movie, right?
Yeah.
Like the different styles at play. I have mentioned live action. I've mentioned stop motion, etc. You go as far and as wide as you can. Artistically, they need to challenge themselves. One of the things they challenge themselves with is a character that straight up is basically moving like the anti-spiral, and looks like a fucking sketchbook moving through.
Looks like something out of like Mob Psycho.
It's so cool. It's such a fucking cool visual thing. And like that again is like whatever, you know, just seeing the way that they execute on that while everything else looks normal is unbelievable, you know? So I'm equally as interested in seeing the how they made this, and I want to do a second watch for sure on the details and stuff, because it's like it's meant to be triple and third watched even in some cases, just to appreciate how they fucking did it, man. Yeah. So anyway, I mean, immediate heavy recommend on all of that, and yeah,
well,
spoilers or not, man, worth it for.
So
here's
the flip side of that. So yeah, getting spoiled on the whole movie doesn't affect my desire to see it at all. I'm still very much excited to see it. It affects the speed at which I want to see it, right? Because like I'm not gonna drag myself out to a theater. I'll just wait to watch it at home with the wife, right? But the same thing happened for a different movie.
Oh no!
And bro, I gotta get to fucking see The Flash. Goddamn, I gotta see that movie now. That is the ugliest fucking thing. A parade of corpses in that movie. It is like the most visually and morally disgusting movie I have ever heard of.
That is a very disrespectful way to describe Michael Keaton, and I don't support it. I do not endorse this.
I don't know how familiar you are but when I say there is a parade of corpses in this movie, I really mean it.
Okay.
So that movie CGI's a bunch of dead people onto characters like a bunch. Like
What?
5 or 6.
Like dead actors?
Dead actors, yeah.
Not characters. Not dead characters.
No, dead actor in their old role. Like a bunch. I can think of at least 3 right now.
Wow.
There's one guy who people are asking him, "Hey, I really liked you in The Flash." And he's like, "I didn't do The Flash. What are you I didn't go down and film a movie." Like, "Oh, that's right, because they just CGI'd your young man face onto a fucking skeleton abomination."
Holy shit.
Oh, 4. There's 4 dead people, at least.
Because, like, okay, so if I'm not mistaken, when they got, was with Grand Admiral Thrawn, in Spider-Man, they kind of like in Spider-Man, in Star Wars, not Thrawn, god damn it, fucking what's his name, Grand Moff Tarkin.
Yeah.
When they got Grand Moff Tarkin CG'd into stuff, they at least talked to his family and like made that something that they approved, if I'm not mistaken, as well as Carrie Fisher.
Sure.
So there's the estate said okay to the likenesses being used there. What is happening with Flash?
Okay, so I'm gonna tiny spoil little piece of the Flash here. Okay, this giving you the big warning. Okay, here's the big warning. You saw from the trailers that Michael Keaton is in the Flash, right?
I did.
Because Flash is doing the time travel Flashpoint kind of storyline thing. That means that there are possibility for other Supermans and other Batmans to show up, such as Christopher Reeves, Adam West, the black and white Superman actor who killed himself because Superman ruined his career.
Jesus fuck!
I don't know if you remember that. I actually forget his name. We're all there.
George Reeves.
We're all there. Yeah, George Reeves. Yeah. And the guy who played Jay Garrick, the Flash in like the 50s.
Oh shit, old Flash.
He's the gentleman who's like, "I wasn't in that movie. What are you talking about?" Because they just CGI'd a homunculus version of his younger self into it without even telling him. Right?
Holy shit, man. Wow. Okay. Wow.
So
yeah,
I have not seen The Flash. I have seen bits and pieces of The Flash, such as, you know when people will reverse and chop and fuck with a clip from a movie to make it look really bad? Mm-hmm. There's a clip going around of Ezra Miller putting a baby into a microwave and going, "Ha ha!" and a woman screaming that looks like nightmare shit. Turns out that's reversed. You watch the regular scene, hey, guess what? It's still nightmare shit because the whole scene looks like a nightmare. There is a gentleman on the twitter.com who has a review of The Flash that cemented me and Paige to watch The Flash. We have to see it as soon as we can. If you would give me 2 or 3 minutes, I will recite it to you because it seems to gel with the clips that I have seen.
Okay. I guess I would just like to remark at this point that having not known anything about anything here except for the return of Michael Keaton, over time there has been this like, I remember when like random like Twitter feed stuff started talking about an Ezra Miller, and I'm like, I don't know who that is. What is any of this?
He's a criminal.
I'm like, I literally have no idea. And then like that like ramped up, and then it was like, oh, the movie's coming out, and then this criminal apparently is like there, and they're like, oh, we're still doing it, I guess. And it's like, yeah, too late now. It's happening. And so anyway, there's a little bit of a like, well,
Ezra Miller went on a crime spree involving kidnapping of children.
Yeah, that sounds insane. Okay, so now then, the question as to how or why the release of this movie would go forward is like, well, if the movie itself has what you're describing,
it's super good, yeah,
in
we
this
put
kind
all the
of
work into it.
well, then I mean, I guess the ethics in question are not
Yeah.
really in question
Right,
that
yeah,
much. Or
who
like,
cares?
like at the end of the day,
We have somebody in the chat who worked on the film's special effects. They say that their parts look good. I believe you, but I have to continue forward with this because after hearing this movie review, this is from Houston Coley at Art Within Pod.
Yeah, I don't know anything about anything.
All right. I went into The Flash truly thinking that maybe I'd somehow be pleasantly surprised. This is the most offensively awful major blockbuster I've seen in the theater since Suicide Squad in 2016. Not just bad, it's a ghoulishly uncanny and grotesque Cats level nightmare. This is an obnoxious movie full of disgusting / puke related humor, uncanny valley CGI monstrosities that rival Polar Express, an insufferable lead who is socially inept in ways that feel unbelievable, a paper-thin message, and a final shot so stupid that my jaw dropped. I've actually seen that shot. They're dead on. It is astonishing. I can't imagine being a Snyder fan and liking this. It's every bit as offensive in its stupidity and awful humor as Joss Whedon's Justice League, and does just as much to take Snyder's stylistic vision and Walmartify it. The movie just looks ugly and feels dumb. It is rich that this hits just after Spider-Verse, a movie that thoughtfully meditates on how tragedy defines heroism and whether or not we can change that, and where ATSV says maybe this makes Barry's tragedy into a mutable canon event and rests on a contrived theme about moving on. This movie feels like it has a vendetta to make Ezra Miller appear as unappealing as possible. Gross shots of eating, distort parts where their face gets stretched out, grotesque wide-angle close-ups, Seth Rogen laughter, and a suit where the joke is that it makes them look stupid. Miller's performance is like a mix between Bugs Bunny, Jim Carrey's most obnoxious character actor phase, and a CGI digital double so obvious that it makes you wonder how The Parent Trap did this better in the 60s. The craziest thing is that this movie ends in a way that makes everything we've just watched both cease to exist and cease to matter. Barry learns things, yes, but the entire mission of the film is proved to be both empty and devoid of meaning or purpose. I don't understand how any fan would be insulted by so many things here. The way Supergirl is handled makes her pointless. The way Batman is handled makes him pointless. The multiverse DC cameos are pointless. It's all so hollow. And may I reiterate, this thing is ugly. Not just the wax baby VFX, but the general overcast sky look during everything not in the Speed Force. So much of it feels like the Civil War airport, but with less visual clarity. The aesthetic of a blurry, overexposed iPod Touch selfie. The notion that all of Hollywood loved this movie feels undeniably staged and paid off. It is impossible. The only thing I'm really anxious is the notion that James Gunn loved it. James, you know you're better than this. Call Sam Raimi. I've got no idea what Andy Muschietti does here that would make him suitable for Batman, unless your Batman film is set in broad daylight with a pandering hero worship that feels like a parody rather than humanity. It's cheap. The action is comatose. Matt Reeves stay winning. And it goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on from there.
Okay.
So I can confirm a couple things to that, which is the movie, every single thing I see from it is like probably the ugliest movie I've ever seen in my life. Like visually repugnant.
Like that's a mouthful. I'm curious now to see for myself because that sounds insane, and I
want to see it so bad.
Is that actually as bad? Like, is it really? Wow. I mean, holy shit. And if it is as bad as that fucking sounds, I am just, I guess, saddened because the thing I've wanted more than any of, I don't know, the only thing I've cared about with any of that, it was like, oh man, it would be cool if Michael Keaton got to be Batman again. So
yeah,
fuck, man. That's a waste.
There's a
humongous waste of a cool thing. If so,
there's a shot that I can think of that is Barry running through the Speed Force, and he like pauses to like steal a hot dog out of a guy's hand with his mouth, and it's like it's barf worth. Like it looks disgusting. It looks fucking gross. He's like slow-mo stealing a hot dog out of a guy's hand and going and it's like, oh my god, it's gross. It's gross.
You wasted Michael Keaton on that. That's fucking shitty, man.
I mean, if you want to talk about it, you wasted a lot more than Michael Keaton on that.
Yeah.
You could talk about how you wasted George Clooney on it. You could talk about how you wasted Nick Cage on it.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so they went for it, is what it sounds like. It sounds like they went for we didn't quite end game with Justice League, so let's just go even crazier and see if we can really go nuts and end game with this. That's what it sounds like. If you're dropping the names you just did and then including the dead, like that seems
many
like
dead.
Yeah, that seems like we wanted to Subspace Emissary, our universe a little bit.
Many dead actors were brought out to make this bad movie.
I did not know that this was supposed to be a celebratory event,
Yeah.
I didn't realize. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay. Well, shame about...
I will not be buying a ticket to see this movie. I just want to see it really bad.
I can't believe this is all like
These two movies coming out right next to each other is the funniest fucking thing in the world.
But
because
also
I'll be
the fact that it's headlined by crime.
And I'll be like, here's what's on TikTok. And I'll be like, yo, Flash was so peak, dude.
Everything up until this
whatever.
point,
DC stay winning. And it's like,
everything up until this point, I sounded like people were like, oh man, what if a criminal in a good movie though? Why'd they have to do it with him? With them. And like now it seems as if, I guess, that's just part of the noise of what is essentially a Justice League 2 in every sense of the word.
Yeah, I guess. Oh.
Okay. All right. Well,
I gotta see it. I gotta see it. I gotta see that bad movie way better than the good movie, because the good movie's gonna stay good forever.
All right. So, yeah. No, race to theaters.
It just made me laugh because you started to talk about like, oh yeah, multiverse. You can kind of screw up your story and make it mean nothing. I'm just like, well, right, may I present to you the Flash, sir?
Yeah, no, the Spider-Verse is a fucking that's a celebrate the animators of that, and also what's really cool is for the longest time, you guys have had like premium theaters with your like Alamo Drafthouse style seating and that whole thing. We haven't had that in Montreal until now. They finally do have a like premium theater kind of experience thing you can do. So remember the Forum?
I do.
Yeah, so the theater at the Forum was always just basically for like A24 indie films and stuff, and it was never going to be Scotiabank because that's the main place where people go to watch movies. So now
I've been gone a year. Don't forget the Forum.
I'm recapping for everyone else. I'm doing the thing where you start a new series and the people that had known things forever are saying it to a brand new audience that might not know.
Like specifically the part, Pat, you remember the Forum? Like, yeah, dude.
Okay, well,
I saw a hockey game in that fucking building back before it got decommissioned.
Okay, non-Montreal people. There is a place that's the Forum that was a second theater from the main one that everyone would go to, and so, anyways, they've revamped it into a order your food and get a big couch seating experience. Sounds nice. And like the theater is like maybe 30 seats tops, so you have a lot of room, a lot of space, and it reclines, and it's a whole thing. And I'm like, yay, finally we get to do that. So it was really nice when I got to do that in America once or twice, and we get to do it now. And yeah, 18 plus, get the kids out, fuck that.
Get out of here, children.
You can order booze if you want, and yeah, absolutely super 18 plus. Like even for a fucking Spider-Man movie with no kids in it. Could you imagine? That on its own
Pretty soon I'm not gonna be able to mention that.
Yeah, well, either way, like not having to deal with that is nice because I forgot what it was. I think it was like when I went to see Nope, where it was like nearly empty theater, but the 4 kids that came in besides us just decided to be shits the whole time, and you're like, right, awesome.
I'll never forget me and Dan going to see Clerks 2 at the fucking 11:30 showing, and a woman had a 1-year-old baby in the front row.
Yeah.
Like, lady, you have lost your mind.
It was, and to be honest, like we went on a Tuesday because it was the most convenient, and I kind of forgot, and so that's like, oh yeah, you just invited hell into your viewing experience, because generally like Tuesday is the Cheapy Tuesday thing, so a lot of like people will grab the crying babies, all 8 of them, and wheel them into the theater, and it's the anyway, it's the night when it's gonna be rough. And I remember just in school always just being like, I can't fucking... Spider-Verse is already mixed poorly in terms of audio, by the way. You don't want to see that with an annoying bad audience.
I actually saw something. The audio director for that movie was like, hey, did you have trouble hearing Spider-Verse?
Yeah.
Guess what? It's your theater's fault, because I sent out a very detailed guide about what volume your theater should be set at to correctly hear the movie, and a bunch of people just ignored it.
And also, if your movie is wrong, go tell the theater tech and have them change it. Get up from the movie that you paid for and waste your time and visible, and go tell. Like, it's like, no, like people going to see it shouldn't have to be the ones to fucking tell them to do it properly. But yeah, as soon as it started, I was like, oh, they warned me about this. The voices are mixed way lower, or at the very least, the people that are doing it, that are not that guy, that are doing the wrong job. But
I gotta say, I don't know if it's because I'm older. I don't think it is. I think it's because I think audio mixing for television and film has been objectively ruined, just completely worthless. One of the reasons that I'm not like, I never went to a theater during COVID because didn't want to get COVID, right? But even now, the appeal isn't there. I kind of don't want to watch anything without subtitles anymore. I'm done. I am done. So every time over the past year that I've like, hey, let's watch it without subtitles, get like 10 minutes, and then we have to pause it and rewind because we didn't understand.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah, I get it.
And so, yeah, I'm kind of done.
I don't require it. However, when in a lot of cases when it's available, it depends on the show, depends on the way it's done, because some shows are more, and movies are more mumbly than others.
Yeah.
So there's times when it's like, is this a mumbly ass show? Put the fucking subtitles on. I go back
and I wish I watched True Detective with fucking subtitles, because I had to fucking roll back a lot of fucking McConaughey dialogue. Like, I'm just dreaming in the fucking future Louisiana.
Last of Us is a great show, but it's quite mumbly so far. It's very much a subtitles appreciated situation. Yeah.
I want to blame Christopher Nolan. Specifically, it is his fault, because you remember when Dark Knight came out and the mixing was bad? It came out that he did that on purpose. He's like, in real life, you wouldn't be able to hear everything he's saying. And Nolan mixes his movies bad on purpose.
God damn it. I mean, I know that the iconic Inception bois is like an achievement of sound design in film that has become a big deal, because it's like it's louder. It's like 200% louder than anything else happening in any other theater. But like that idea of you're not supposed to hear that's insane.
Apparently,
then why are we strapping up a boom mic and having a dude hold his arm out for it?
I did not see Dunkirk or Interstellar. Apparently, those movies are like bordering on unlistenable without subtitles. It's just
Interstellar bleeds the fucking music in way loud. And I haven't seen Tenet, but like it's definitely, now that it's pointed out, it's definitely a thing. Jesus Christ.
Chat pointing out that Bane delivers a speech to a full stadium that no one can understand. Do you remember that?
I do, and I don't know what he was saying. But I'm like, oh man, Bane says a bunch of cool shit. Yeah. I'm like, I bet you this is iconic, but I don't know. I can't tell. I do not remember what he says. Absolutely.
Hey, hold that thought. I gotta take a quick break. I gotta help out with something. Excuse me.
All right. Yeah. So, fucking movies. Why even bother?
Why even bother with movies?
That's why we.
I don't know.
That's why we play video games.
Yeah, because video games aren't embarrassing fucking messes either. Definitely not.
Never. So I played a couple video games this week.
Tell me about your couple of video games this week.
Yeah. So, notable, I guess, off the bat was this week was the first inaugural local Street Fighter 6 tournament.
Street Fighter 6?
Yeah. So, got to go and check that out. And side note, it was kind of interesting because this was an event that was like it's like I think like it's like the first like big thing I've gone to I guess post program and seeing lots of people and everyone's like, oh shit, yo, I didn't recognize you and stuff, and that feels good. And
that's great. I love that.
That's a nice little like hey reveal of sorts, But I observed something interesting psychologically, I suppose, because I'm always like taking a step back from myself as often as I can to think about things. This is an interesting thing. So the way I've always looked at myself has been the visual of my generally overweight, out of shape body.
Wait, hold on a second. When you were just taking a second to think, were you doing a Naruto jutsu with your hands?
I was not doing a Naruto jutsu. I was pointing like this. I was pointing a gun. Pew. So the way I've always perceived myself has been, the general overweight shape that I've had for most of my life. And now that is changing. So when I look in the mirror, I see a smaller shape, and there's a moment of, whoa, that's different from what I'm conditioned to seeing for 30 plus years. Holy shit, right? That effect bleeds off and fades and fades and fades until, like, as of like a day or two ago, I looked and I was like, okay, not only does that moment not exist anymore, now I'm back to seeing it, and I can see the part where my brain goes, oh, yeah, you still got that, that's not great, And I'm like, oh, wow. Already, my brain has gotten used to what I'm seeing, and it's starting to go back to default, which is you don't like what you see. And I'm like, that's fucked up, brain. That's insane that it's been, like, literally, like, days, and you're already trying to run that game on me.
That's why when you go to the gym, you got to tell everybody you see they look huge, bro.
It's crazy. It's crazy how like I'm like I saw that and I'm like that like I'm stepping back from that moment of like, huh. So this you're not even that impressed anymore. You're already like, yeah, but look at that fucked up shit, right? Look at that. That's not great, And you're like, ooh, this is how it starts and goes down a dark path for if you don't catch that, I think you can just lean really hard into it. You have to catch that shit, Especially when it's like literally something drastic has occurred, you fucking idiot. What are you talking about? That's a completely irrational thought. What are you doing,
Like the body dysmorphias tend to function along gendered lines, right? So the one you're describing tends to happen more with like young women. But like say you were hitting the gym and your arms were getting like nice and swole, right? In your plateau stage, your arms would now set to tiny as fuck. And then, okay, well, I got to go harder and get bigger, bigger. And then eventually you hit the dysmorphia and you're like, well, I guess I gotta
get the synthol
a little bit.
I gotta get the synthol. Let's get those needles going. Let's get the fucking liquid going. And it's not even steroids. It's literally just like salt water to make my muscles look
just
big.
Just need to get big.
And then big, bro. Now I'm Bubble Man. Now I'm just Marshmallow Man.
What happened to Luke?
Yes, that's how it got started.
That's why his arms look like that.
Yeah, no, it was just an interesting little thing. I was like, oh, how fast that happens. That's super unhealthy. Gotta fucking check that shit immediately. But no, so anyways, fucking the first Street Fighter 6 local event the inaugural tournament happened, and it was so cool. It was like basically a free tournament, so free sign up, free everything, and the winner got that $1,000 pot bonus. So it was just a like hype for the new game, hype for the new venue, and like shout outs to the organizers. You know, the Montreal Gaming Center, Z, the organizer, and like the sponsorship like money came from Northern Arena. They're doing some really cool shit. And they had a really great venue that was like used to be a bar, used to be a club, you know, kind of fun lights, like tech setup, little just cool overall energy to just walking around and playing games on the main stage and everything you'd want, you know, right off of St. Catherine as well. So really central location, easy to get to. And it was just great to see people in person and like walking in and seeing the locals and all that shit happening. I was like, oh man, God, I fucking missed this. You know, it was there was definitely like an emotional, like, shit, I needed this in my life a little bit. It's been too long. Just not old faces, new faces, people coming out and essentially just being like, hey, I learned how to, you know, do a combo or two. I'm on Modern, but let me come take a crack at that 1K. You know, people, a lot of new faces came out, and man, it was just awesome. It was awesome to see old and new generations coming together and people very excited. And a lot of the people that we've been hearing from recently that have been like, oh my God, I didn't know that I could like fighting games even because I felt prohibited from it, you know, and stuff like a lot of that energy as well. Shout outs to the Commander Stephanie Sterling episode from a bit earlier reviewing Street Fighter 6 and basically going like, yep, couldn't play Street Fighter at all until now. Thanks Modern Mode, I can actually have fun, you know? And it's like, that's great. That's awesome. So the event, you know, went really good. Reggie entered, I entered. I can say that we did not walk home embarrassed or upset. I felt all right about the general progression of things.
Were you free or not free?
I got top 16. I'm not going to complain about that. I can't complain about top 16. Reggie also got top 16. And so, like, we both made it past.
Now, before I have to ask.
Yes.
This is really important. Were there 16 people in the tournament?
There were over 100 people in the tournament.
Okay, just checking. Gotta check.
It was the fullest of full brackets. It was yes. I mean, free, you know, like, yeah, I was not free. I made it out of pools. I made it to top 32. I won my matches, and I made it to top 16. I fought some very good players, and I did not, in the matches that, in the matches that mattered, I played extremely, like, cleanly, and I have no regrets about them. In the matches that I won, I fucked up and dropped a couple things, but at least I kind of brought it back around. But like when it mattered, I'm like, nope, I just got outplayed, and that's okay, you know. Mm-hmm. So, and similar thing for Reggie. Like we literally actually got the exact same placement. Funny enough. So, and then that made way for us to be able to jump on commentary and do the top 8 for the stream. And so that was a lot of fun as well, because haven't had a chance to do commentary in a bit, and you know, a lot of that just comes right back, and the vibe, all of that, just, you know, I wanted all of that. It was a great like first experience for this game. And yeah, just also like the controller diversity, you know, you're seeing these days, like people are playing on anything and everything, dude. It doesn't matter anymore. Like there's sticks, pads, leverless, fucking just keyboards, like everything is coming out, and it doesn't matter because the game is just like, yeah, plug it in, let's go. I don't care. What do you want to use? Mouse? Go for it. You know? I played by Marissa, definitely. And
you're going with Marissa?
Yeah, well, right now that's where the work is. Blanca's gonna take a little bit more lab time. It's gonna take
Blanca is super good.
Blanca is really, really fucked in how he mixes you up, but it takes a ton of preparation to get that shit together and to do it properly. right?
I've never hated Blanca more. His hop and his command grab, I can't see it.
Yeah, you and everybody else.
Can't see
the world can currently not see it. Everybody is unable to be like, the command grab, there it is again, right? Thing is, it's funny enough because he's like the second least picked character, right underneath Dalsum. So you're not going to get a ton of Blancas out there to in the wild in general.
Yeah, I fight like one a day.
Yeah, but he's still tricky. The thing is to get those tricks going on you, you've got to, well, there's two things. One, there's the part where he lands it, you have to get past the gimmicky parts, right? So Blanca has always been this thing where you can do hops, you can do the command throw, you can do the gimmicky things, and a lot of that stuff is really, really not real. And once you know how to deal with them, then he's forced to be more honest, and then that's where the player has to shine. Where it's
there's a fun bit happening that you get to see with Blanca and E Honda specifically, and maybe Guile, with Street Fighter 6 with like new people, where it's like Sonic Booms are coming out, or a headbutt is coming out, or Blanca Ball, full screen Blanca Ball is coming out, and the discovery of like, this character is just gonna do this forever until you stop them.
Yeah.
Figure it out. Figure it out now or die.
So it's a horizontal version of I'm gonna keep jumping on you, because if you don't stop me from jumping on you, then I have no reason to not do it, right? But it's happening horizontally now, and you're forced to figure it out, as they say.
Like I remember I was playing Geef and Blanca hit me with a Blanca Ball, and I blocked it because I'm like, yeah, I'll block a Blanca Ball full screen. And then he fucking went 3/4 of the screen back to where he started. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Supposed to do? Shit.
So
then I figured it out, but still, like, goddamn.
It's a knowledge check, right? That is what it is. And depending on whether you lab it or not, or you have ideas. So if you don't lab it, but you're just a fucking like amazing thinker, you can on the fly come up with solutions to things and possibly even fucking implement them. For example, I've seen a Honda flying across the screen get air SPD'd because that's possible.
I saw a video of like JP can do his air grab on Blanca balls and headbutts for free, and I'm like, oh, that means anybody can do that.
Air throws, absolutely, yep. I fought some online Hondas that were just doing do you know how to deal with headbutts and butt slams? And it's like, if you don't, you're just going to die and it's going to feel terrible. Or are you going to go and figure out what the stupid fuck is happening? And turns out there's a couple of angles you can use. If he jumps back, or if he does the butt slam at you, at least with Marissa, you can jump back in the air and like target combo him. In some cases, you can put the shield up and Gladius through. You can scoot him past a bunch of that stuff. So there's answers. You just have to go fucking figure it out. And thankfully, there's a little option right after you play a match in ranked that says, like, train against your opponent's character, So...
hey, before we move on, I really want to point something out, specifically about modern mode, because we've talked about it a lot, right? How good it is for new people. One of the people who watches our show, Kinda Free or Eerie, they have a YouTube channel called The Den of Sin that they just put up their Street Fighter videos on. They did a breakdown of like the damage scaling properties on modern mode. Modern mode is way better than I thought it was, like numbers wise.
Yeah.
It is. Like the damage nerf on modern buttons.
It's not buttons.
It's only the specials.
Exactly. There's a misconception going around that I guess I'm repeating this for maybe the fourth or fifth time now because I have to clarify it. There's a misconception going around that modern mode makes you weaker and across the board, and that you're getting 80% damage out, and that's not the case. It's only 80% on the special button shortcuts that you press.
So the reason why is because I believe in the beta, modern mode did have scaling on some of the auto combos, and it did have scaling on some of the supers.
Okay, so there's some crossed wires
And then
there,
they buffed it.
Yeah, no. The only time you lose damage is if you use the shortcut button to do something. If you
even if the special is part of the auto combo, it doesn't scale different.
If you do the inputs, if you press those buttons, if you press your A, B, C button instead of the punches and kicks, all of that's normal. Yep. So, you know, and that makes sense because really those are the advantage is the one button special, right? The benefit of not having to do an input to get something out is that you can do it instantly. So that's where the damage nerfs comes in. If you just put heavy punch on C, that doesn't, there's no reason to nerf that. It's the same thing. It's the button. Yeah. It's just in a different place, you know?
It's fascinating because what Kind of Free at Den of Sin, it's a good little YouTube channel, you should check it out, discovered is that doing the combos manually but using the shortcut button is the worst way possible. You're better off doing a full auto combo that has no scaling applied, but if you do the full combo manually, like for real, but use the shortcut on the special, that's when scaling kicks in super hard.
Oh, the moment you switch to the shortcut special.
Yeah. So if you do if the combo is like light punch, light punch, light punch, and then like Shoryu or whatever, and you auto combo that out, no scaling.
Oh, right.
But if you do manual light punch, manual light punch, manual light punch, and then use the special input for the Shoryu,
you get the scale on that. Okay, yeah.
So it's use the goddamn auto combo button.
If you're doing that exact string, right?
Yeah, if that's the string you want. Yeah.
So once you get a little bit more comfortable, what the next step is starting out with one button that is a manual button, and then holding the combo button to bring out something that can only be used as a part of the combo string. So that got a little complicated. Let me explain. With Luke, you can do his standing heavy punch just by pressing C, but to do his not his crouching heavy, I think it's his crouching heavy, you have to hold combo starter button. So you end up like pressing C, and then holding combo button and pressing C again to do the second part, releasing it, and then doing the rest of the combo. So there's little moments where you have to know when to hold the combo button and release to get the buttons into buttons part of the combo down. But then when it comes to the big special ender, you're definitely going to get more damage by not doing the shortcut.
Like it has invigorated me in terms of like, okay, there's characters I don't know how to play. I do not know how to play Cammy.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if I want to play Cammy, I'm gonna hop on modern Cammy because I'm not gonna miss the 4 normals that I'm missing.
Yeah,
and that will allow me to carry myself up to a point of expertise where I can then switch to classic Cammy.
That's it. And all it does is it'll encourage you to just learn to try out the input manually for the stuff that you're not used to, and then like get that damage reward. There was a top 8 auto combo, modern mode Ken at the tournament. And
certain characters are going to be better than others. Like Geef loses a lot on modern, right? He loses a lot, and it sucks. But I don't know if it's worth it because like being able to do the one button instantaneous air SPD, the air SPD specifically on reaction to every jump in is unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Like that might be better than all of the lost normals
that you lose. Yeah. So modern Geef was already a like people were like, oh, that's a terrifying prospect because he gains so much from it, right? The idea of the SPD, the 720, all of that being now like just at the speed of thought, you know, because it always is like when you get good enough, everything is at the speed of thought, but there's always that little extra second of brain, you know, and like now it can actually be like, oh, he's in the air, let's go for it. Okay, there it is, you know. So yeah, anyways, all that to say, there was a modern mode Ken, shout out to Curbster who made it to top 8 and was basically, I was like, yeah, you didn't find it kind of weird based on your history with the game? And he's like, I've never had any attachment to Ken. I've never played Ken. This is my first time playing Ken, so I don't give a fuck. I had nothing to delete when it came to learning this character. So I was like, that's exactly it, you know? Yeah. So, anyways, that's kind of how the tournament went. I saw Reggie said there I wasn't happy with my placement. Well, you know, you can't be happy with your placement. You always want to strive to get better.
At least one person gets to be happy with their placement.
It's just like, yeah, I'm more just like, I did not feel upset walking away from that, which is something I felt walking away from a lot of tournaments where I'm like upset at myself for like not pulling out something that I needed to, or dropping this or doing that. I'm like, I felt I played all right, but the knowledge check needs to continue.
I gotta say, so now that big tourney people are playing a lot of Street Fighter, I'm seeing on social media my favorite part of a new fighting game. This is sarcasm. People who are way better than me just being sad about shit that no one cares about. So I don't even remember their names because I didn't recognize them. But you do the thing where I'm like, does this guy know what the fuck he's talking about? And then I click on their Twitch channel. I'm like, they're hanging out at Diamond 5 or Master. I'm like, okay, they clearly know what the fuck they're talking about. But they're just like, man, why would you ever play this character or this character or this character when Cammy or so and so can just do it for free better? It's just, it makes me so upset.
No.
Oh, the Street Fighter 6 is too hard. I'm not having fun. I'm like, fucking Jesus.
High level salt is still salt nonetheless. That's been
like, it doesn't go away.
No, that's been a thing for a very long time, and you can see it in a whole lot of players, and it follows them from game to game. There's people that are just like that, no matter how like good they are, and like the reflection in how they deal with frustration is just gonna be the salty attitude. And in a lot of cases, it's like the tech isn't there yet, the knowledge isn't there yet. We're still too soon. It's still too early, and this person's very, very good. However, if you look at their history across every other game, it's always that. So you're not going to see it any different, even if the game itself is, you know, different.
It's this emotion of seeing people, like, the game has been out for 2 weeks, right? And you're watching it, and it's like, are you able to be happy about this thing? Like, the mentality of like, I am not having fun unless I am winning, like, applies all the way up to the top of the chain.
So what you would hear is, as a counter argument, it would be Michael Jordan sitting there looking at the iPad going, I took it personally because I had to take it personally, because if I didn't, then I wouldn't have enough in me, the fire in me to win and to be the GOAT, you know? And there's a little bit of that kind of attitude that comes out where it's like, no, you got to stay hungry to win, and whatever that means, if you thrive in the toxicity of it, then you adopt that, and that becomes your way forward.
I think my favorite one is the one that I saw today, which is like, spent 2 weeks with the game. Street Fighter 6 is just, it's too hard. It's too hard. I'm having to think too much. It's not fun. And I'm like, this is a person that would beat my ass into the dirt in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's more just, it's more of a reflection of, like, you know, the top tier club, and kind of being in that, are you in the running for $1 million? Are you mentally and emotionally prepared for not making that $1 million? You know,
yeah.
Like, everything that's going to do to people is going to emotionally fuck people up, you know? And like the idea and the desire, especially from people, like, if there's the fact that there's $1 million on the line means if you play fighting games at a competitive level, no matter which game it is, you should be playing this one because you're probably good enough to transfer your skills, right? It just makes sense.
Yeah.
It just
your
makes
fundamentals
sense.
are going to apply across everything.
Yeah.
I mean, fucking Sonic Fox went from Mortal Kombat to Dragon Ball, and those are wildly different.
Yeah. So, you know, and so if it clicks, it clicks, and that's kind of how it goes. But demeanor is demeanor. There's not much you know that like, that's just going to be the way it is. And there's also like, how do I put it? There's a thing that I see too that happens at tourneys with certain types of players where they're very good but they're like not fans of fighting games or the game per se. It's kind of like you have the skills, and like the skills allow you to essentially like I mean, if you win, you talk mad shit, right? You flex, you make money, it's a hype thing, and you get to blow it all up. But like, you're not like really enjoying the video game. You know, it's kind of more like we would go to the arcades, we'd put our quarter up, and then you'd kill some time doing this activity. But if it could have been poker cards, it could have been rolling dice, you know. And there's a little bit of that, right? And for some of those people, you'll see sometimes where like it feels like work. It doesn't feel like fun, you know.
Yeah.
And they're putting in the time, and they're trying to get better, and then they do get amazing. But ultimately, it's like, yeah, this is not fun for me. This is work. This is just, you know, hours
These are the
clocking
kinds
in
of
and out,
people
right?
that can't lean back in their chair and giggle while they say, "I'm using woke controls."
And I'm always reminded of that interview with Tomo, who talked about, you know, being like the first Street Fighter 2 champ in America, and how very, very, very quickly winning went from being a celebrated good feeling to becoming a requisite for feeling normal. And
You know what's funny? That sounds exactly what you were talking about looking in the mirror.
yeah, actually, that's a human thing, right? And Tomo walked away from Street Fighter, like back to Street Fighter 2, back when he was kind of like, yep, I would enter a tournament, and if I won, I felt no joy. I simply felt relief that I it's default. I'm relieved at it being the way it should be, which is I should always win. And
I
then
had that.
the moment a loss happens, you can't imagine how devastating, you know? It's
I
a
remember
fucked up
having
thing.
that in high school with my exams.
Mm.
Or if like I got 95 or 100 on an exam, you know, the teacher or my mom would be like, "Hey, you did great." I'm like, "No, I didn't. That's what you're supposed to get on the exam.
Yep.
You're supposed to know the answer to every question."
I've told this
And
one.
then I would bomb like one a year, and I would be inconsolable. I'm like, "I'm so fucking stupid. What the fuck? This
Now-
is bullshit."
This doesn't apply to every one of the salty ass people that you're describing and such. However, zooming out on this, you want to talk about school. There's the story I remember reading years ago about how the difference between praising kids for hard work versus praising kids for being smart is they had different groups, and the results were essentially kids who were praised for being smart. When they got presented with work that was too hard for them, they gave up nearly immediately, because their expectation was that their innate talent would prepare them to handle it. Whereas kids who were praised for working hard would actually sit there and keep at it and would not give up as easily. And in some cases, figure it out. But those that didn't were like, yeah, I tried, I couldn't, you know, but they put more time in and were more successful on average because more people spent more time, because they cherished the work aspect as opposed to the, like, I'm just supposed to get this win. You know
what the funniest thing is, dude? I've read that study, and I've thought about it a lot over the years, and I look back to myself as a little baby child and how there was no, like, my personality is so like internally perfectionist, toxic, whatever you want to call it, that there was no solution to that for like educators and like my parents or whatever. Because I remember being told, "Hey, you're really smart," and I go, "No, everyone's just stupid." Okay, that's not the correct response to deal with that. Or, "Hey, we know you worked really hard on it. Good job." I shouldn't have had to work hard on it. It should have been easy. Was the actual response. And like every variation just led to, I should have cakewalked this because it's easy and I'm smart, and anything other than that is bad.
I mean, it happens often enough that I was told I was smart as a kid, and I was given that very early, and then there was demonstrable proof because I skipped a grade, so that I was like, oh, well, there's the proof of it. Therefore, I should never have to struggle. So then the moment I encounter struggle, it feels utterly fucking gut-wrenching.
Oh, wait, did I just become stupid? Am I stupid now?
But what happened to the kid that skipped the grade, though? They meant I was so far ahead. No, dude. Not at all, you know? So that shit will fucking haunt you. And, like, no one knows back in the day that that's what they're doing. They're just making the kid feel good by saying they're smart. You know? That's all that's all they're trying to do, but these are the effects that you find out after the fact. So, anyway, the expectation that the win will follow because this is where I'm at, you know, is quite interesting. I remember, too, to take it back to the fucking Salt in the Street Fighter, for the longest while, you know, being the Blanca player, of course, it's always like, oh god, fucking Wooly, here he comes, you know, like, just with his neutral skip and his complete lack of fundamentals, which, to be fair, Reggie has exposed quite a bit of my like, fundamental Street Fighter knowledge lacking. It's not like it hasn't been, and I'm working on it. But there was a lot of times back in the day where it'd be like, whatever, you're free to this, you're free to that, and it would lead to, there was a point where I remember there was like a money match over ego that we had with someone in the local community, and we did like a 1st to 10 or whatever, and it was a better player for sure, and like in the end I totally lost, but I just remember that like when I won the few that I won, and then at the end of it, the look of sweat and panic and fear that was coming from my opponent was so much more aggressive than, like, I was much more laid back about it. Like, hey, let's see what I can do. Yeah. Let me just disrupt this situation a little bit and try for it. And they were way more worried because the pride on the line of losing to fucking Wooly, the Blanca player, was so embarrassing, and that stain could not be a thing that they could wash off. And I just remember literally sweat pouring off his face, you know? And then it was at the end, it was like, oh, okay, well, that's what happened. I was like, wow, that's what it is. That's where the mindset is. You
just
know?
Pushing buttons, man.
It's crazy. It was crazy. And I'm sure.
So it's funny. I had a variation of this emotion this morning when I was playing. Like, I was fucking around. Like, you know what? So I put a lot of work into Geef and I put a lot of work into Jamie, but I've kind of stalled out at like Plat 1, Plat 2, Plat 3 with them. I'm happy with that, but like, I'll play somebody else, right? I picked up Guile, and I don't know how to do a goddamn thing with Guile. I don't know nothing. I didn't do his character guide. I don't know his target combos. And I just sailed into the top of gold, and I'm like getting like 11 game win streaks. And I'm like, I don't think I'm going to stay with Guile. But now when I go back to Jamie or Geef and fight Guile, I'm going to be sitting there going, this fucking character is so fucking free. This is bullshit. You don't even need to know how to play the game to fucking win with this fucking... This is bullshit.
As a character loyalist that has died with my picks, and I'm trying to not do that, I can tell you that the perspective you get jumping around the cast shows you truly what your character is. And you get to find out, like, oh, you just don't get to do this thing that others get to do. Or you do get to do something that others can't. And, like, what the game is to a lot of people is not what it is for you. And, like, you need that perspective, you know? I mean, literally, like, the idea of, like, early on, like, having a clean anti-air and a clean, like, zoning tool means that a thing that a lot of people struggle with at the beginning is going to not be a problem for you. So when I'm fucking around with Luke, it's like, yep, the base, the footsies and stuff that we'll figure out later. For now, I'm throwing a sandblast out, and if you jump in on me, I got a DP, and I just don't have to think about it. You know,
I don't need to learn these footsie things.
And like, you know, and again, the term neutral skip comes to mind because it's like, or knowledge checking even, where it's just like, look, until the person you're fighting has bothered to learn what your guy's able to get around your bullshit, you're just gonna win, you know. And Honda is currently like that. Like, there's a lot of people that don't know what to do about Honda, and I mean, Honda does have some shit that's really good, so you can't just do those two moves and beat a fuck ton of people until you hit the people that are like, actually, I'm gonna go figure this out. So
I'm in a place now where I don't like JP.
Mm-hmm.
I want him gone.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's where I'm at. Like for JP.
Mm-hmm.
I have yet to actually play one button of JP myself.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if I play JP for one match, I will hate Street Fighter. Like I feel like I'm so angry from the other side.
Yeah.
But if I get a hold of that character and be like, wow, this feels really good and easy, I'm gonna be so mad.
This is why, though, like, there's always two facets to the conversation. And, like, the important part is like, do you care? Like, does it matter to you to, like, get better, or are you just looking for the fun, right? Because if you are just looking for the fun and you pick that JP and you start doing bullshit and filling the screen up with garbage and the pollution overwhelms everybody, you're going to be like, well, that's the way the fucking cookie crumbles. I love this. It's awesome. Feels good to be me, right? But if you do then pick the character and then you learn how he works, you then learn what his weaknesses are, and you learn how to get around a bunch of them, and you go, oh, there's cracks all over. JP is very, very good at what he does, but there's cracks that you can exploit. And if you're doing those things, you can make his life a lot harder, you know? And it's like, once you know about those, it suddenly starts to look a little more normal, right? It starts to be like, oh, okay, this match can go either way now, because this JP is either, like there'll be a lot of JPs, for example, that are like really good at zoning you out, but they haven't practiced what to do up close, except for doing the amnesia, the OD reversal, right? And then there's like, or holding up to just jump out of it because they're like, I don't know how to fucking do anything here. Get away from me. Ah. And once you see like the level of confidence go from supremely confident at the full screen distance to extremely unconfident up close, you can use that fear to like dominate and like steamroll into a win, you know? Mm-hmm. But it's before you hit that point of seeing those things, it's gonna feel like there's nothing you can do to deal with any of it. It's gonna feel hopeless.
It's really fascinating seeing these characters exist in a huge player base, because Street Fighter 6 is it's crazy how many people are playing it, how many people you're exposed to, and you get to see like, it's not character balance, right? Like some characters are really good and some characters are maybe not as good, right? But you're getting to see like what characters fly past what percentage of players. Like JP's nonsense, I'm pretty good, and his shit just it makes me mad, and it breaks my mind, and I have to play a completely different game, and it's not free, but it's harder than maybe it is. Does that make sense?
Yes, because that's a matchup thing as well. That's what Geef has to struggle with, you know?
Right. And then you get to see like Guile also lives in that same place. Like a lot of people don't know how to deal with a lot of projectiles. Yeah, like a lot.
Another way of kind of looking at it is like some characters dominate the space of the match by default until you interrupt them, right? Mm-hmm. Like Sonic Boom Flash Kick, like dominates the space and. You have to find a way around those things because by default, it is a perfect defense and offense, right? It is a wall that is impenetrable, but it's not impenetrable, right? It's time limited and it's charge limited. So there are moments, for example, where you're like, oh, he walked forward. He doesn't have a Sonic Boom. Now. Okay, he's got it back, right? But if you're not thinking about Guile's walking, you're not thinking about when he has a Sonic Boom ready to go, you're not thinking about whether he's crouching or not, then you're just trying to run your game and ignoring his movements. You're not thinking about whether or not he has that ability to stop you, right? The goal there is to pay attention to the way he moves, and that gives you a clue when it's safe to approach or not, you know? It's not always impossible to get in. It's only impossible when he has his charge. You know, this fucking amazing video game takes that, which is Street Fighter fucking 2, like Street Fighter 2 Ryu versus versus Guile, like, and it
Yeah.
puts that across the board and everything. And there's little bits and pieces where every micro in moment of these the way the moves interact with each other will have a little thing where it's like, if you used like this strength, the problem is after you block it, but if you used a different button, the problem is beforehand. And the combo looks almost the same. The only thing is the strength of the attack, which means you need to know whether the person you're fighting likes to use A or B or C, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, an example of this is there was a great video from this fucking morning where Big Bird, a great Marissa player, or not Big Bird, someone else showed a video of Marissa doing her medium punch, and then the Superman punch, right? Love to do that. Yeah. Good string. And there's a gap where after the 2 medium punches, she flies in, and then, usually if you block that, then she gets to act again. Well, Jury can do her level 1 super right when Marissa's in midair and be like, nope, fuck you, blah, 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 blows it up, right? And you're like, oh, yeah, shit, okay. So if I'm just mindlessly playing Marissa and I just keep doing that, a Jury player can know to always super me right at the end of that. And then Big Bird just posted, here's what happens when you do the same combo, but I do the light Superman punch instead. And it
goes over it somehow.
Immediately just decks fucking Jury in the face, blows up the super, we move on. So it's like, aha. If I change which button, it means it's not a free solution. It means this whole thing is different, and it comes down to whether the player is choosing to go that way or not, you know? And if and like that creates a whole other series of thoughts you have to consider, is like, well, now which one is he going to go for, right? It's so awesome that this happens in this game. Okay, I was losing some space for any thoughts that you had there, but the tournament,
JP.
Yeah, the tournament overall went really well, and a JP won. Flux Waves.
Shocking!
Came
shocking!
Took
JP won the tournament.
Took that cash.
Who could have thought?
I mean, it was the only JP in top 8, though, for that matter. So to be fair, there was one. He's the one, and he's like that good. He's fucking good. But I mean, when JP was not a thing, Flux was still dominating with Mika, in Street Fighter V and shit. So the player is you can't nerf the player at the end of the day. That being said, it was awesome to see as well, because we've got matchups you don't see a lot online as well. Like you're not going to fight a lot of Dalsims. He's the least picked character in the game.
I have fought like 3 Dalsims in the entire 85, 90 hours I've played.
But Snafu, aka RDT, the local Dalsim player from Montreal, has been putting in work with him, and you get to see some cool shit that you wouldn't really get to see in the wild, and that was fun to see. Like, oh, when Dalsim starts going, this is what it looks like, and he can fuck you up. And furthermore, because you haven't fought a lot of them, you probably haven't seen this shit, the power of the unknown character, right? GamerB picks add-on shows up and fucking people go, who? This is a character in the game? What? Jaguar kick? I
never played this character before.
Yeah, so that's always fun. But anyways, man, great event, great tournament, lots of fun, and I'm like, okay, I see what I need to improve. I already learned a couple things immediately after the match. I mean, the other match of the 2 players that I lost to that were very good, I sat down with one of them afterwards. We did a couple of sets. And I've practiced the stuff that I messed up, and we actually learned a couple things together, like just there in the venue right after the tournament. And it was like, that's the ideal thing, right? Oh, fuck, I could have gone further, but this was the wall. Let's sit down and immediately try to solve that. And then you do, and you go, oh, if I did this, then next time, great. So problem, solution, I leave that night a better player, It's an ideal way for things to go. So, I'm going to be supporting the Montreal Gaming Center as best I can. And if you're in the city and you want to get games in, that's the place to do it. And if you came out and I saw you, shout outs, lots of cool people said what's up, that were like, people that played they got in from watching Get Into Fighting Games and Friday Night Fisticuffs and stuff. So, that's going to be popping off soon. Something else that I did a little bit before that was very briefly, the Samurai Showdown rollback beta, the second one, was underway this weekend as well.
How is it?
Well, I wanted to touch it to say that I did. I wanted to make sure that I, could look at it and be like, all right, this is the state of affairs. And we streamed it the hour or so that we went for. The matches were rough. It is not looking like the rollback implementation is good to go. Now, what we had right off the bat, we had heard that the first beta was really, really bad. Tons of rollbacks, tons of weird graphical issues and such. Then we got the patch that came for beta 2. Every match had particle effects just flashing kind of like way out of place, too early or too late in some cases. We had definitely a couple of teleporting issues while playing. Again, some rollbacks occurred. And like we were having issues with people that were in Vermont. So it's like, whoa, we're right next to each other. This should not be an issue. And fuck, man, it sucks. But like, the main thing, of course, is that the people making this are Code Mystics. They did all the great rollback for previous SNK games, including the last couple Sam shows that are not the new 3D one, right? And those were easier to implement, certainly because they were able to emulate things. This time around, they're going in and trying to get it working from the ground up in the game's netcode itself, and ultimately, still needs some time in the fucking oven. I saw they posted on Twitter about it, and then I kind of sent them like a little report on it. I was like, yep, had some issues. And then they rolled out another patch, and they said things have gotten a lot better. So I haven't seen what they've done since. But they said that basically, like, it's also like it's costing considerable overhead to get like logs and stuff. So they're kind of asking for people to try out the new one if they can and see if they're getting any better results. But yeah, man, it sucks. It sucks because, like, I mentioned this many times in the past. Like, they can probably get it there, right? Code Mystics has done this in the past, and I do have faith that they can get it to that state, but it's not there yet. And the newer the game, the harder it is to stick rollback in retroactively. And overall, like, it makes it even more of a problem when the company is stubborn about getting it in there to begin with, you know?
Samurai Showdown has, like, it is like the poster child for like stupid internet like decisions in terms of its game. Like, the delay was like really bad delay followed by like Stadia. Oh, and it's like,
and it gets worse, dude. Then there was the part where your online ranking is tied to your local save file. So if you go to your friend's house and log in on your account, you start from scratch because it's not saved online.
That's so stupid.
It's saved locally.
You know what? It's extra bad. It's extra like depressing because like good net play is a very important function of many fighting games. Yeah, I would say all fighting games. But the fighting game Samurai Showdown, the one in which like a single counter hit can like outright kill you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, maybe that one's really important.
It's insanely
like, more
important.
than some of the others even.
More than any of them. It is the most important for this game to never have a hiccup because of that exact like split-second decision making. And then of course there's also the part where you can rematch someone forever in ranked mode, which means that it doesn't actually matter what the points are. You know, so and the video came out called It Deserved So Much Better because it is like the funnest when it's played locally offline in the circumstances that don't have any of this bullshit. It's such a fun game. I love it so much. Dear God, the online is some of the worst it's ever been, you know? They're trying though, and here's the thing, like there's the part of me that is really upset that they didn't do it to begin with and now it has to struggle even harder. And then there's the part of me that's like, I can't believe they're even bothering, because so many games just don't even bother to go back and try, right? So I have to remember the part where you're like, there's a part before this where you're like, for the love of God, will they put rollback in the thing I want? And you're just begging for that. And then we now get to the part where they announce it and you're like, yay, they're doing it. But they're doing it and it's not working yet, right? And that sucks and that feels bad. But you still have to remember that it is still at least they're looking at it as opposed
I
to
have
not
to
at
say,
all, you know?
I totally get where you're coming from, and it has this weird, like, it has this weird reverse intensity because bad rollback is way worse than delay. Like, bad rollback is the worst. It's like visually confusing, it's nonsensical, it's awful.
I can say that as sad as it makes me that, like, you know, we're so close but so far from this great game having you know, a way for people to fucking play it. And they made it 90% off on Steam, by the way, so it's on sale for nothing as well at the same time as this. And it's not the greatest way to fucking get people in when you're, you know, they run into these problems. But the fact that at the very least, again, I can go from this is a decision SNK made internally back in Japan, and that's the end of that. You can yell into the void for eternity. No one cares. No one's listening. Versus, okay, Code Mystics, they're in the UK. They're working on this. They tweeted out that this is a new thing they're trying, and then I replied to them and said, here's the problems I had. And then they asked me, can you send us a copy of the video and what build you were on? And, you know, and, like, confirm it. And I'm like, okay, yes, someone is here replying to me and asking for information, like a bug report, so I can talk to somebody that can try to fix the things that are not working right now. And that's overall a step towards productivity that is not the same as yelling infinitely across the Pacific Ocean. You know? So God, I really hope they pull this out, because yeah, man, you know, I don't know that Sam Show is not one of these games where I would expect to hear an announcement that they're doing another one just out of nowhere. You know, it's always possible, but I don't think my heart is expecting that. But this is the state of it. This is where it's at. I'm reporting in to let people know. Yeah, so that's pretty much the deal. The only other bits I just want to remind people, yeah, we'll get Wooly versus whatever coming your way soon. We're running into some issues with the YouTube bullshit system, so once those are ironed out, the episode will drop. But right now, it's being a pain in the ass. The Mass Effect 2 run is nearing its completion. I believe we're past Citadel, so we should be on the final steps.
You're like,
yeah.
Right there.
And the only thing I'll say at this point is just quite simply. Did I say 2? I meant 3.
He said 2.
The only thing I'll say at this point is it's obvious, but just so stupid that, like, the amount of money that Cerberus has is equal to the amount of tension the game requires in any given scene, in any given moment. So
what are you talking about?
So when you kind of end up walking out to the fucking Cerberus HQ, and you deal with pussy, and you do all that bullshit, and then you get get a couple of, like, calls and scenes with Tim, and it's like, hey, so remember the giant fight at the end of Mass Effect 2 where it was like, dude, fucking salvage the stupid Human Reaper T-100 goop. It's good goop. We can use it to rule and be stronger and better than the Reapers. We can be humanity. And then you're like, nah, bro, that shit's stupid. You're dumb. LOL. Lamau. Hang up. Fuck you, Tim. And then Tim's like, okay, well, that seemed like a big deal, but actually all that did was just stall for time. Right? Really? Basically what that call...
We salvaged it anyway.
We salvaged it anyway. So that call was actually like, hey, yo, you're at the dep? Can you pick me up some smokes? Nah, man, smoking's bad for you. You shouldn't smoke. Come on, give me some smokes. Nah, bro. Well, fuck you then.
Oh,
and
it's
Tim
funny
hangs
to
up.
Me that so that's all over that game, but it's funny that you've never brought up to me the worst one in that whole game by far. It's pretty early, which is the fucking Rachni Queen.
Oh, coming back?
You saved the Rachni Queen in Mass Effect 1, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to know what happens if you did not save the Rachni Queen?
Nothing?
Well, that sequence still has to happen. So they throw in a line or two like, Cerberus found a different ship that had Arachni Queen on it, and they stole the Arachni Queen and they put it in the spot. And
Oh, come on!
So the sequence can happen.
A different Arachni Queen just shows up instead.
We just found a different one.
Ah! It's Borden or whatever that dude's name is.
It's
yeah.
Like,
okay.
Yeah, no. So stuff like that is
Brex.
why when we get like I don't know if you remember a while ago that I talked about how like I think the choices in Mass Effect were actually a mistake. Like they like and it's because of stupid shit like that where like they want to have the sequence but they gave you a choice before, so they're like, but the level still has to happen.
Yeah.
So
can't make the important thing optional unless it's pre-order DLC.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so there's just that little like bit where it's like, oh, this wasn't a drastic set Cerberus back and help the galaxy versus like you know, fucking enabling our doom. It's actually just, hey man, get me some smokes or I'll come out there and get it myself, and that's gonna waste some time, and I don't want to do that. Really, because I can do anything. Actually, I have the money, I have infinity, I have whatever I need, you know.
Hey, listen,
and
we could only give you one ship and like the money to like hire like 10 guys, but actually we have a standing army of like 4 million people and 10,000 ships.
We have the ability to take over the Citadel because we kind of needed it in the plot at this moment. Our power level is Citadel. Every race of the council cannot handle this one cheeky boy and his group of fucking ne'er-do-wells.
And it's like we're going back to Mass Effect 1 where like Cerberus was like 4 bases running like little science experiments,
and the most
then
annoying,
you destroyed them.
And they killed one NPC, and you're like, "Oh, you bastards!" You know, yeah. And it's actually the complete opposite of like, you know how the Geth powered and scaled down. The Geth power scaled down in the same way that that Cerberus power scaled up. It's like the plot required this, so you cannot be what you set yourself up to be. We have to just buy into the idea that like you have fucking a replicator or just like something, you know. I don't know what it is, but if you're buying into the idea that Cerberus on its own can take over the Citadel, you have to buy into the idea that he didn't need you to bring in that skeleton at any given point. He didn't need any of this. This is all just theatrics.
Wait, hold on a second. If Cerberus could have taken over the whole Citadel, then how come Cerberus didn't do anything when the Citadel was invaded by Geth and Reapers in Mass Effect 1? Wouldn't they have been in a bad state if the world was if the galaxy was annihilated by I guess they knew you were going to handle it.
No, they didn't have the investors at the time. You see, the stock was too low. They didn't have the investors, right? See, now with the power of the Masters Foundation behind them financially, now that Tim has gotten an investment of KenFTs.
I like that.
Yeah. Anyways. So yeah, Mass Effect's bullshit is gonna be wrapping up real soon. I know I've been saying that for a while, but this time I actually mean it, though.
I mean, it's 3 games.
Yeah, I know. But people are waiting on World Tour, and as am I, and understandably so. And I'm getting angry DMs from friends going, "Could you just fucking put that shit on hold and start and strike while the iron's hot, idiot?"
You're at the finish line.
It is what it is. So yes, that's going on. And then lastly, I'm gonna be this weekend out in Philadelphia. Just a reminder, I'm at Too Many Games. So if you're over there, come say what's up. Yeah, I'm going to do a panel. Probably jump up there with Eyepatch Wolf and, I don't know, maybe play some Street Fighter. I'll probably play some Street Fighter, so...
What?
Come find me.
Are you sure?
I might play some Street Fighter in Philadelphia. I don't know. We'll see what happens. At the very least, I'll try to go find David Hayter and, like... I don't know. I don't know yet.
Touch his hand.
I'll just stand next to him.
Oh yeah.
Just be like, yeah.
Breathe his air.
that's smells like scotch and whiskey. You know, it's good stuff. All right, that's me. Wooly Versus on Twitch and on YouTube. Wooly Wolves on Twitter. And if you participated in the little raffle we had on Twitter for a chance to win one of them snack box micros with the Wooly Versus limited edition on it, thank you. Shout outs to the winners. There's going to be more, so stay tuned.
Can I take a 30-second break to get some water?
No problem. BRB. All right. How about you?
Well, I'm Patton. I had an eventful week. So first of all, the wife got me a bunch of shirts for Father's Day. So very, very thankful to you, Paige, my darling wife. I'm wearing one right now. That just says I can't read.
Yeah.
And I have two of these others that I have to show y'all because I'll describe it for the audio people because they're so stupid. I'm in like my postmodern cringe dad phase. My wife got me the CIA female body inspector shirt.
Oh, come on. Unironically. And it doesn't say FBI.
No, it's the CIA.
It says CIA.
Body inspector.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Good shit.
And she also got me this one. Let me see if I can turn it around. It's how do I describe this? It's a bunch of airplanes and tanks blowing something up with peanuts on it that says not allergic to peanuts.
Yep.
And there's another one. There's a bluey shirt, like I think it says Rad Dad on it with the cartoon dog. And then there's one I don't have with me on hand right now that is Garfield. Like it's a blue shirt with Garfield the cat on it, with the stylized Garfield text that says Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Oh, that's great. That's great. That's great. For the rest of those, I can only assume you just type stupid fucking dad shirts into Amazon and see what happens.
Yeah, well, yeah, regardless, I love my wife. These are very, very good dad
Solid.
shirts.
CIA female body inspector.
Oh,
that's
so
good.
Do you remember how many guys had that fucking shirt?
Yeah, but
Like, it was...
like, okay, so two things. One, I remember it being in Once Upon a Time in Mexico when Johnny Depp, the actual FBI agent in that movie, wears one of them.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to say FBI.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good. Good bit.
So before I get to video games, I would like to tell a dad story that Wooly got a tiny piece of yesterday. So there's a baby on the way. Little Patrick Jr. is on his way, and so Paige and I thought it would be cute to go to one of those places that does like a private ultrasound that's like a higher resolution ultrasound, so you can see the baby's face. right? And you'd be like, oh, look, that looks like a little pet or whatever, right? So we went to one a little while ago, but little baby Patrick Jr. was not helpful and decided to face away from the camera on every opportunity. Just like, I'm not, no, away. Or like put his damn arm right in front of his, like whole arm in front of his face.
I assume if ideally taken, you get something looking like BB in Death Stranding.
Yeah.
Like going like, hey,
that's the ideal.
Right?
That's the ideal. And you actually get like a baby photo of your baby at like, 6 months or whatever. So, they're like, okay, you couldn't see your baby at all, basically. So we'll let you, we'll have a do-over in a couple weeks. And then, Paige and I were like, and we want to schedule a certain day, that'll fit with our schedules. And so they're like, oh, we're closed on that day, but you can go to our sister ultrasound place. It's a little far, but we'll make a day of it. We'll make a little road trip and go out there to see the kid. And so we did that over the weekend. And we get there, and the first thing that happens is Paige and I like have to hold each other's hands to keep from like scream laughing, because like we are encountering a Nurse Joy situation. The woman who comes out of the little ultrasound office looks like the twin of the other lady at the other office, to the point where we thought she was the same person.
Nice.
Until she said, oh, hello, miss, pleased to meet you. And we're like, what? Like, same hair, same French accent, same brand of glasses. Like, same thing. And then we go, okay, and we sit down, and hey, look, the baby's looking towards the camera. Except what they didn't tell us is that this camera at this location is like 40 years old and is the shittiest ultrasound machine I've ever seen in my life. And we're like, oh, well, you'll record it, right? They're like, no, the recorder is broken. Have your husband videotape the monitor with his cell phone. Okay, fine. So I'm holding up my fucking cell phone to videotape the monitor on Father's Day to watch this thing. And we sent Wooly one of the photos. We sent Wooly one of the best photos they could get. And she's looking at going, look how cute the baby is. There's his eye, as like Phantom of the Opera Cronenberg is fucking melting through the photo.
Street Fighter 6 character creator wishes it could hit what's going on in that photo. Yeah. No, little Gygas from Earthbound fucking like, what the shit is that camera? What is this tech?
And as like we're sitting there and we're like the video of me videotaping this monitor is like shaking constantly because like we're trying not to laugh in this person's face.
Oh my god.
But like it's the most embarrassing fucking thing I've ever seen. And what happened, so we got there and there was a couple ahead of us, right? And the couple left and they were pissed. They were like super mad. And you have that moment when you watch a couple leave and they're like fucking mad. You're like, did they have a fight about the baby? And then we get in there and we're like, oh, I know exactly why they left pissed. Because I'm about to fucking leave pissed off.
Oh man, it's complete dog shit fucking technology. And
wasted the whole day.
Wow.
to go and do
travel.
This.
I mean, I don't even know. Like, it was covered by the fact that the last one was bad, though, right? At the very least. Yeah. Okay.
But like, it's a total. The whole thing is like a total wash. Like like zero baby picture.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to send my mom a photo of her grandkid. Right.
This prenatal photo brought to you by Unregistered Hypercam2.
Exactly. So, to those of you out there, if you or your wife or you're pregnant and you're like, maybe I'll get. Fucking don't. Just don't. It's a fucking ripoff. They're fucking ripping you off because they have a photo in like the little office that's like, look, these are some of the photos we've taken, and they're like a movie camera of the inside of the womb, and you're like, that's incredible. That's not what your baby's gonna look like. That's somebody with like the placenta is in the right spot, and they're really like carrying like super horizontal, and they're like super big, and the baby doesn't move all that much, and they're using the super high end one at the one place that they have it. It's not gonna look like your baby's gonna look like a fucking dog monster.
I mean, I'm kind of thinking that if they just took a picture of it with the good camera from the back, you could at least get a little Dio going, you know, like, don't fucking look at me, as opposed to that bullshit.
And
what a mess.
So they take the photo and then they use a dial to like remove the distortion, and as they're doing it, you can see that the distortion isn't going anywhere.
Well, so what I'm curious about is like, do they do it and then turn to you and go,
Yes! Yes! That is exactly what happened.
Look at, can you make out the...
look at his eye, and like the eye was like floating out of the head when she said that. Like, oh my god, unbelievable! Like, what a way. Funny story.
Can you make out the John Carpenter effects going on? Yeah.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
What else did I
do? This magical moment. Yeah.
It was very magical. It was real magical. I also played some stuff. You haven't played FF16's demo, so I'm not gonna bother because I wanted to talk maybe more nitty gritty about it, but no point. They did say they're gonna try and fix the frame rate by release, which is nice because it needs it. I also played the Lies of P demo.
Oh,
so that is the
Pinocchio born at home.
So, the best thing that I can say about Lies of P, it is not We Have Bloodborne at Home.
Yay! Okay.
It is not that.
Because here's the thing. When that descriptor is on the money, it's the right one to use and everyone agrees with it. And when it's not on the money, everyone gets really, really mad and goes, fuck you for even saying that. So I'm like, I don't know. Just from the outside, it looks Bloodborne-ish, but I don't know. So
what it is it's a Korean developer, and it's the story of Pinocchio as told through a From Software game, basically. And it is a From Software like fan project that was given a full development budget, and so like it is actually closer to Sekiro than Bloodborne
because of the limbs and
because of the parry system.
So
you can block, and blocking hurts unless you block at the last second, at which case it's perfect.
Is there stamina?
Yes. It feels really good. It looks really good. It has a really fascinating system where all weapons are a blade or a attacking part and the handle. And the handle determines the moveset, and the top of it determines its stats. So I was able to do weird shit like take like an electric mace and pull the top off and put it on my fencing handle. And now I had a fencing club that did electricity. The demo is also they're very confident. The demo is insanely long. The demo took me an entire stream. It's like 3.5 hours long.
Wow.
It has 3 bosses.
Okay. They want to sell that idea on everybody. Yeah.
And it is the only part that breaks me is that because of the puppets and P and all that, it has to be an Englishism because it's a Asian developer, but like having Geppetto look at you and say, "My son, you are powered by P organs." Like I just start to like giggle like a child because I can't help it.
Great.
Um,
I appreciate the confidence of a beefy demo because it's like, if you're liking what you see here, you're not gonna take the 3 hours and run and go, I'm satisfied. You're gonna want more, so you'll definitely go invest. You know, like you'll go, like that's a good idea.
but yeah, no, it's absolutely excellent. I was really impressed. I am looking forward to it coming out in September alongside everything else.
Was the like was the cutscenes and lines and stuff also kind of like janky, like not
Well, no cutscenes.
okay, dialogue
Dialogue was pretty
normal,
but
Okay.
also your character doesn't really talk, so people talk at them, and it's FromSoft game, but it's not a FromSoft game. But it is, but it's not really.
okay.
Like, you know, people will talk to you and softly chuckle.
So the Bloodborne comparison also came from the fact that aesthetically it's not Victorian England, but it certainly is France.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's definitely
And
that.
it looks
It kind of
like that
looks like
era.
you're in Yarnum.
Yeah.
And there is rally. Like you do have like if you take damage from something while blocking, you can get that health back by hitting somebody.
Okay. And there's a corpse run.
There is a corpse run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is very much like a FromSoft style action game, but different, and it's really good. It's really genuinely impressive. I really liked it.
Okay.
Nothing else to say. It looks good. The demo is big and free, and available now.
Yeah, I mean, again, the sentiment looking at that first teaser and stuff was like, I hope you really distinguish yourself with what you're doing here, because if you're not gonna, and if it really does end up just being like discount Yarnum at home, then you can just go right on the pile.
No, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Also,
Okay.
they removed the APEB. They
oh
removed
yeah,
the
all puppets are bastards.
bastard
Yeah.
sign.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good idea. Yep.
Yeah, that was a good idea. What else did I do? I beat the Street Fighter 6 World Tour mode.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun, and some things happened in it.
It's an excuse to get some moves on your big dumb avatar.
A story happened.
Yep.
And the World Tour mode is there for two reasons. One is to build up your Cronenberg avatar with cool moves.
Yep.
The second of which is way more important, is
Hang out
to
with the Street Fighters.
is to hang out with the cast of Street Fighter and become their pal and spar with them and have them tell you stories. Like, I hung out, unsurprisingly, with Zangief. And so when I finished hanging out with Zangief and maxing out his style and all that, he's like, hey, you know what you need to do aside from fighting? You need to have a different hobby, because you can't just fight all the time. Me, I read 300 books a year. I've recently started reading mystery novels. And then you get a nice little animatic of Zangief in a librarian outfit going to the library to read his books.
Nice.
And texting you about make sure to work out every day, and all that shit. It's like that's what that mode is about. It's so that you can go meet Jimmy Blanca and talk to Jimmy Blanca about all the stupid shit Jimmy Blanca is up to, and find out that Jimmy Blanca looks like that because he has covered himself in leaf juice and he literally has dyed his skin green.
Yeah, the jungle.
And
that's what happens.
That's why he looks like that.
Correct.
And he is running a scam. He's running an active scam for tours.
He's taking kids on jungle tours. What's the problem?
He is running an active criminal scam on those tours.
Allegations, allegedly.
And hang out with divorced, pathetic Ken and give him a cookbook
Yeah,
because he doesn't know how to cook.
I think Blanket
Oh yeah,
Chan deserves marketing, frankly.
there's a whole dialogue about that where he's like, yeah, we overproduced them
Yeah.
and flooded the market.
There's too many. Yeah. That was the problem in Street Fighter V, actually. The story Blanka made in Street Fighter V was, I made too many Blanka-chan dolls. I need to go make him more popular so that they'll sell more.
Yeah. So all in all, it's a fun time. Really, at the end of the day, my real purpose for beating World Tour is to unlock the ability to very easily and cheaply acquire all of the second costumes. Because once you beat the game, you can make money on the minigames super fast, and then you just buy gifts for the Street Fighters, and then you just give them like 20 cans of jellied eels, and then they're like, here's my costume. Like that.
Sick.
That's what it's about.
How many hours?
I don't fucking know.
Okay. Because I'm really
30. I'll say 30.
Because I'm curious to hearing the split differences, because I want to, obviously Susie got her 55, and I think like Rooflemonger got like 20 or something like that. So I'm
the game level gates you to some degree. Like the farther away you are from someone's level, the more extreme the damage differences are going to be.
Okay. How completion was your run?
Pretty good. I didn't do all of it on camera though. I did a lot of the side quests off camera.
And costumes?
But like,
did you like
costumes? I didn't do on camera. That's just literally feeding like characters gifts.
Oh no, not like main cast costumes. I mean character dress up outfits to put on.
Oh, I got Blanca's suit and just upgraded it and kept it the whole game.
Okay, so like you did, yeah, okay. Because I know that there's like parts that you get for your avatar that are like, there's tons and tons of those too.
Yeah, there's tons and tons and tons, but I don't care about avatar battles, so I don't give a shit.
Fair enough. Okay, I want to play dress up, so I'm probably gonna go pretty hard on.
Well, here's the thing: dress up doesn't affect your stats. Like one of the abilities you unlock is a custom appearance tab.
Yeah, transmog, right? Or just straight up like, yeah, stats don't get affected. Great. Cool.
It's fun. It's fun to go around Metro City and like see Carlos Miyamoto and have them come up with a wide variety of reasons for why Abigail isn't at his junkyard or Saddam isn't at his truck or what have you.
I guess the only thing I want to know is, now that you're on the other side of it, can we still say Bosch and Lee Fen for the main cast in a future season?
Sure.
Okay. All right.
Sure.
Great. Looking forward to it.
That's what I'll say. Go hang out with Retsu, man. That's cool.
Retsu sweeping up the fucking dojo?
Retsu will text you about ice cream. Like that's what that World Tour mode is about.
You guys are fucking horseshit at this, so that's cool.
What are you talking about?
All right.
What are you talking about? Don't ask questions unless you want the answer. That's what I have to say.
Fair enough.
Lee Fen is definitely the face of the next generation of Street Fighter. Like she even appears in other characters' like story backgrounds.
Yeah, so the fact that they introduced her on her laptop makes me think like, oh, she's gonna be your hacker buddy when you gotta fucking go do the dirt, Yeah.
That's a good guess.
Yeah. So.
It's also fun that when people text you, like Lee Fen texts at the speed of sound and Ryu takes forever.
Yeah.
Because he barely knows how to use his phone.
I'm glad that they know that the thing everyone wants the most is fucking visual novel with the Street Fighters. With like World Warrior fucking antics and bullshit. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Ryu staring angrily at the washing machine. We need
that's the tone of all those interactions.
Perfect.
And that's pretty much it for me. As for this week, I'll be doing a sponsor stream for Aliens: The Dark Descent tomorrow. I'll also be checking out the Sea of Stars demo that just came out. And then the rest of the week will be Final Fantasy 16 when I acquire it. Whenever that happens to be. I'm not sure when that's going to happen.
Okay.
That's over at twitch.tv/petstaresat.
All right.
So next week when we talk about 16, just have played the demo. That'll be plenty for your
reference point,
like needed background.
Okay. Yeah, it's gonna be a pretty fucking packed week, but I'll see what's possible. Let's take a quick word from our sponsors, though.
Oh yes, let's.
Something didn't get updated in regards to that. Let me.
Oh, that's my favorite thing.
Let me just go confirm that. In fact, there is still no update in that.
Oh, that's great.
Always good when things don't do what they're supposed to.
You want to take a second to try and deal with
Nope,
this?
it's fine. We're good to go. Okay. So, yeah, this week the podcast is sponsored by ExpressVPN.
ExpressVPN, you're my favorite VPN.
That's the one. You connect to get around the bullshit. And what does the bullshit mean? Well, it means a lot of things, actually.
There's a lot.
The bullshit can be your data being taken by your ISP and sold to advertisers for targeted, annoying advertising.
I don't like that.
There's the bullshit could be your video streaming service showing you or not showing you things based on where you are when you want to see stuff, and being blocked from the country that you're in or whatever. You can.
I don't like that either.
And the bullshit, most recently, has meant literally getting to play your favorite video games even. So, you know, when Steam is like, only New Zealand is allowed right now, I'm like, well, lol, I'm in New Zealand. It's great. It's great. That is the current, whatchamacallit. There's my personal story is Street Fighter 6 was playable on the day that the sun cracked the fucking horizon in Japan. The moment that happened, ExpressVPN could teleport you right there and let you play.
Thanks, ExpressVPN. I love you.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to get going. All you need to know is you can get it going on your phone. You can install it on your laptop, tablets, whatever devices you use can be covered. It can secure everything on the router level even, you know, so that's dope for all the devices. You can protect yourself against hackers and anyone that is looking to steal your sensitive data. And, of course, streaming services still working quite smoothly when you use it. So,
very smoothly. It's like I've used it at length, and it's like you have teleported. There's no functional difference at all.
I've had no issues. So, secure your online data today by visiting expressvpn.com/superbeast. That's expressvpn.com/superbeast. And you can get an extra 3 months for free. expressvpn.com/superbeast. Thanks, ExpressVPN.
Thanks, ExpressVPN.
This week, the podcast sponsor is Stitch Fix, who we've talked about this before. In general, man, there's times when you kind of go, all right, I need a new wardrobe. I need a new look. I got to mix it up. People have been
Are you embarrassed that you're wearing a shirt that says you can't read?
I mean, look, I've shamed people in their fashion choices for quite some time now, and I still aggressively think that works. But I'm also willing to go a different way with this and go, you yourself might just open your closet and be like, I'm a bit tired of what I'm looking at, you know? I'm known as the person that always wears this shirt. I always wear that. There's a look, and everyone has seen it. There's nothing particularly, you know, special or fresh going on right now. And sometimes when you walk in with something that looks nice, you got a new shirt, someone goes, hey, that shirt's a cool shirt. You get some new pants. It's like, oh, yo, those are new pants. Those are sick. You get a new full set, the drip top to bottom, where you're like, you get a new outfit entirely, and it's coordinated, and this matches that, and then that was put together, and it's like, whoa, 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 who the fuck is this that just walked in, right? That's awesome. So you want to experience that sometime, and, you can leave it to the experts if you don't know how to match that stuff together. That's where Stitch Fix comes in handy. In general, the goal is to have you fill out a quiz and let them know what your tastes are, what kind of style you like, and what your budget is. And then they can get clothes to you that'll fit, that are put together by a number of experts who can figure out the best way to have you looking good, to rock a decent couple of outfits. They send the group to you, and you pick from what you want and send back whatever you don't on them, and that's it. You've got over 1,000 brands and styles that you know and love, head to toe. They're covering the full character creation getup, and you can get yourself, you know, that look that has people going like, "Oh shit, nice, okay." So trust the experts, fill out the quiz, and try out Stitch Fix. You can go to stitchfix.com/superbeast, and you'll get 25% off when you keep everything in your fix. Sorry, I'm getting a phone call. Pause right there.
1 second.
Excuse me. I was right in the middle of the call to action. Let me take that from the top. Try Stitch Fix today at stitchfix.com/superbeast, and you'll get 25% off when you keep everything in your fix. That's stitchfix.com/superbeast for 25% off today. stitchfix.com/superbeast. Thank you, Stitch Fix.
Thanks, Stitch Fix.
This week as well, the podcast is sponsored by HelloFresh. And yeah, that's
HelloFresh is my favorite meal kit.
That's your meal kit. Yeah, man. They sell. It's real simple. We We are talking about the ability to get yourself just good tasting food in a box, fresh, the ingredients ready to go, and you put them together, you cook them. They take less than 20 minutes in many cases, and you just get a great dinner or a great lunch or a great breakfast out of it. That is a particularly nice thing about just the way they do it. You get a card that is a simple, like, couple of steps to follow. One page process, really. Pre-proportioned, everything's figured out. You don't have to worry about measuring anything. You just take the packet as is and put it right in. And then you're learning to work the stove, you're learning to sizzle, you're learning to toss things up, be that fancy chef for just a minute. And yeah, it's not just for meats as well. As if you're going vegan, if you're going vegetarian, if you want extra protein, if you want to do calorie smart, if you want any kind of meal that is available, you can choose and customize your plan according to your tastes. You can top off, add some sides, mix it up a little bit, swap in snacks. I mean, they've got a ton of different things that cover your tastes. And yeah, I mean, in particular, the ability to go and get quick and easy recipes that you can choose between 2 people or 4 people meals as well. Even take a pause in your plan when convenient is really useful. So get in on the good stuff. I'm always going on about that pesto chicken because that is my favorite. I like me some chicken. I like me some pesto. You put the two together. I don't ask for much. There's more to it than that, but
there's actually a lot more to it. I've made a wide variety of meals, of course, of which I can't remember any of the top of my head right now. I have to admit, when I cook something and then I eat it, kind of disappears from as soon as I'm not hungry anymore. It just goes away.
Bratwurst bar and caramelized onions. That's pretty good. Can't go wrong with that. Snack board with pretzel bites, bar nuts, honey peach jam. Yeah, man. All of that is available if you
dude,
go.
This sucks. I'm hungry now.
Well, there you go. That's what we're trying to do, right? Here's how you solve it. Go to hellofresh.com/superbeast16, and if you use the code superbeast16, you'll get 16 free meals plus free shipping. That's hellofresh.com/superbeast16, and the code superbeast16 will give you 16 free meals plus free shipping. 16 free meals is a lot.
That's at least 2 or 3 days worth of meals.
That's way perhaps more than that. Perhaps.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're the one losing weight, so you would know better than me.
I can do 16 days on that. But either way, that's America's #1 meal kit. Thanks, HelloFresh.
Thanks, HelloFresh.
And nothing, because there's nothing there. Great.
Oh.
Awesome. There was a thing there, but it's gone now.
There was a thing.
It's gone.
It's gone. Oh, okay.
So, on to the weeks then.
Are you excited for Kraven?
I apparently have missed the Kraven train. I don't know why all this news is up about Kraven.
You're craving some Kraven right now, maybe.
We started hot, and everyone was talking about Kraven, so clearly that was
The trailer came out after we went live.
Oh, fuck. Well, we went live, so no, I have not seen it.
I watched it earlier while we were talking about bullshit. It would sound off out of the corner of my eye.
I see.
And, Wooly, would you believe that Sony has made the same movie 4 times in a row?
Is it just morbing out and venoming up?
It is literally just like exactly the same movie again.
Well, people seem to respond well to Venom and Morbin, so...
Yeah, they love Morbius. Morbius 2 Sweep, Kraven Boogaloo. A Kravillion tickets. You're right, Vashido in the chat.
And attitude-wise, Kraven is the same thing again, but this time he has that accent and he's jungle-themed. Right?
Yeah. Because
he's a Spider-Man angry villain guy with the mustache.
So I watched the trailer, and it makes he gets his powers from the blood of a regular lion.
That's pretty okay.
It's not
Yep.
even a radioactive lion. It's not a magic. It's
Went to the zoo.
he lion. He fought a lion and the lion bled on him, and then he got superpowers with cat eyes.
Everyone is yelling that there is no accent.
There's no accent. Why would there be an accent?
Because Craven has always had an accent in
Nah,
any
shut up.
non-comic book form.
You remember that time Eddie Brock had that New York accent that made him totally ununderstandable and impossible to figure out his dialogue? That was a really great acting choice. Where they gave him that terrible, terrible New York accent that no one understands.
So Craven is not doing any kind of Slavic accent or anything? There's nothing going on?
It's not. His dad's Russell Crowe.
Is he... Not even an... Well, okay, what is his American accent? Is he, like, from Boston, maybe, or...
Hold on, I'll go watch the fucking...
Can we get, you know... Something
I bet
going?
it's,
Philly?
I bet it's like...
Does he have a Philly accent? Go Birds? No?
I'm having trouble finding a part where he talks.
Baltimore? Midwest? Okay. Oh boy, all right. So,
Yeah, he's generic American. He's an American man.
So then can we clearly see the steps are in place, the plan is coming together, the Sinister Six will rise.
To fight who?
To fight not Spider-Man because he's too busy being in a better movie in Spider-Verse elsewhere. Yeah, the Sinister Six get together for nothing, actually.
I feel like No Way Home just actively just shit all over Sony's face by having a multiverse story and just not including any of the shit they had going on.
Well, okay, so here's the thing, right? If Spider-Verse deigns to even slightly shout out the MCU,
Venom.
and the MCU deigns to slightly shout out Venom, then that means that fucking Morbius is connected.
He's coming.
And that means that this Craven is also connected.
He's gonna crave all over those guys.
So, you know, don't disrespect him because he's part of something great. But, like, it's just funny how, like, the hierarchy of priority, it's like we look over in your general direction and give you a wave or a slight head up, you know? And it definitely felt as if, you know, Spider-Verse was on the receiving end of that, certainly. Especially when, given the first movie, there was the kind of obvious, like, everyone walked out of Spider-Verse 1 going, how come they didn't get Toby and Andrew Garfield for the obvious, like, those are the multiple verses that everybody knows.
Well, because they did that on the other
because they did the other one, though. And then, like, but now I feel like Spider-Verse acknowledging that is like, oh yeah, that's because that's a better movie. The better movie gets to nod its head towards the movie that's less good.
Oh, Craven. Hey, can we all like try and convince them that Craven's really popular and that they just need to release it again and lose them way more money again? Because that was great.
Okay, can we convince them to make the team up Morbin Crave?
Yeah, can we?
Can we, before the Sinister Six, we need a Morbin Crave movie to happen to just set the groundwork, like Hobbes and Shaw, you know?
Yeah.
Like Tango and Cash. We got a Morbin Crave, and then we can six it up.
Characters aren't even part of the Sinister Six.
Okay. You know what? I think this is funnier with me not having seen a single fucking frame of it. Does he even wear the mane?
Yeah.
Okay.
He has a little jacket that he makes at some point where he's got the main
big
part.
lion's mane on it. Okay.
It looks bad.
Got it.
It's dude, it's like the same Like it's like overtly the same movie as Morbius. He even looks like the Morbius.
You know, the thing is, of course, is at some point, like, in the middle of this fucking clown shoe shit, Mahershala Ali's gonna walk in as Blade, and it's gonna be like, oh fuck, that's actually kind of sick though. If they actually get their shit together,
That's actually gonna happen. That's been like the most fucked up development hell movie that Marvel's been making forever.
Sounds like it's a struggle, but at some point they might just have him walk on camera and do his best Wesley Snipes impression, and then walk off. Maybe. Because Blade and fucking Morbius are very tied together, you know. Cool.
No.
Well, anyways, no, not that actually. There's other films.
There's other news.
There's other live action things to discuss.
I can't believe it.
Can you believe that the One Piece is real?
Yeah. Like,
Can you believe that it's coming to Netflix?
You know what? I have more than one thought about the Netflix trailer of the One Piece.
That's funny, because I have zero, because I have no frame of reference except for the one chapter of One Piece I read that was the first one, and the overall visual tone of the manga that I see from time to time. And then there was that one time my roommate showed me that fight where the guy springing off the walls gets punched, and it's the unexpected straight punch. But overall, everyone really likes One Piece, and is like, that is one of the craziest things that is good despite how long it is. And so watching this trailer, I was like, "Whew, okay, that's a weird-looking show that feels as if it's taking place on a closed set at all times. It feels like every scene they shot was like just in a green screen, like telephone booth, really." But I've seen feedback from people that are like, "That looks pretty accurate. That looks like what One Piece would be. So yeah, okay." And I was like, if you guys say so, I don't know. I saw some people going, yeah, that seems about right. I'm like,
so
I guess
I'm combining my own thoughts with the better phrased thoughts of many people who I've read about and talked about this. So One Piece. So let's skip how it looks to start. I think that the grandest joke in the world is that Netflix, a company that has made its entire corporate history about canceling things after their second season because the people aren't signing up anymore, deciding to adapt the longest running, currently unfinished story ever to be like a cosmic prank. It's so funny. It's so fucking funny. Like, you're not they're not even going to get to the Grand Line before Netflix cancels it.
Is that an arc?
The first series of arcs is them getting the crew.
Okay.
And then they hit the Grand Line, and that's where the story starts. Really.
Okay.
So in the TV show, the first 49 episodes are getting the crew, and then episode like 50 is we've reached the Grand Line, where the story will now start.
Okay.
So I would say, so I don't like the way One Piece looks. I think I've always said this. I think One Piece looks like trash. I hate the art. I think some of the animation on some of the episodes, particularly the newest ones, can be incredible. I hate what One Piece looks like. I think every character looks like a deformed freak. And I can't believe people like the art style. That's taste, right? That's like we're gonna agree to disagree on the taste. Clearly, a lot of people like it. But
I think it's fine because like things, I like things that are doing their own bold thing more than things that fall right in line.
Sure, I like things to not look horribly ugly. That's when I look at the TV, I want to see a pretty picture.
Cartooning character designs is a skill. I respect it.
But irrespective of my personal thoughts on the art style, the characters in One Piece like have weird body proportions.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They don't look like normal people. And the people in the live action have to look like normal people to some degree, right? Luffy and not Sanji, Luffy and Zoro, they yeah, okay, yeah. Nami doesn't have a weird deformed hourglass, but a human being doesn't have that. So okay, yeah. Like they probably look as good as you could get in live action, like from a human.
Mm-hmm.
Buggy, who is like a real freak. Yeah, he looks like a vaguely human shaped freak in this trailer. Like, okay, yeah, okay, that could work. But I think that a lot of the stuff with Luffy is like kind of unfilmable because of all the stretchy shit.
Yeah.
But even then, the part where he stretches,
Mm-hmm.
it looks bad, but it looks less bad than all the other stretchy CGI shit I've seen to date.
Like a stretchy arm is gonna look like a stretchy arm no matter what you do. You know?
Yeah, like the stretch CGI looks bad.
And I feel like, yeah, because I guess you got your contemporary of currently Kamala Khan, right?
Well, she doesn't stretch.
Well, I mean, her embiggening powers will... Are there not the fucking proportional things going on?
No, she doesn't stretch. She has energy arms.
So it's just they just completely cop out on the fucking...
Yeah.
Well,
no stretch.
All right. The funny part, I was about to say, oh my god, that's hilarious, because I didn't know that. I had no idea. I didn't know that. And I was about to say that the Hollywood solution would have been to just make Luffy have big energy arms that stretched out so that he wouldn't have to physically do it himself. Right? I was about to just unironically say that.
The last stretchy people were the Reed Richards in the Doctor Strange movie for the 4 minutes he's on the screen. And then the last stretchy man before that was the Reed Richards from Fan 4 Stick, which looked like shit. And then the last stretchy man before that was the Reed Richards from the Silver Surfer movie, which looked like dog shit. So fucking go off, Reed Richards.
We're gonna need some Plastic Man representation real quick. Yeah. Yeah. That's hilarious. Now that exact like joke cop out I was about to say is exactly what they did for Kamala Khan. That's amazing.
So
well, sure.
I look at the One Piece trailer and I go, that is way less bad than I was expecting. However, it still looks like it would fit very comfortably somewhere on the range in between Attack on Titan live action film and JoJo live action film.
JoJo. I was going to say JoJo, those characters, what the fuck can you do? And it's like their best, I guess. Takashi Miike did his best. JoJo's hair doesn't make sense and it won't. The end of story.
Like that, like they're trying, but you're like, you shouldn't adapt this into a live action medium. Like you shouldn't. Like it's a bad idea. A lot of its appeal comes from things it does in its own medium.
Yeah, but Netflix is like, when they want to do their own version of it, I assume that going with a 3D version of a thing is not enough of a distinct, take on it. Like they want it to be their own,
I still think the worst of all of them is The Lion King. I don't think I will bring this up every time.
I mean, it seems as if all of those live action Disneys are kind of hitting the exact same, like, why do you keep going point. But interestingly, sister story to this announcement is they then showed off the Avatar. Nothing actually, because there's a trailer and the trailer is just the logo shaking a little bit. But they showed off cast photos, and the cast photos look really good. I have to say, they look really, really good. But I am reminded when I see them, I'm like, those are good casting shots. That's cool. I wish we saw it in action. We didn't. And I'm reminded that the last time we heard about this was when the creators of Avatar walked off the project because of the creative differences with the Netflix staff and the things they wanted to do with it a couple years ago. So in case anyone forgot, some 3, maybe 4 years ago, the creators of Avatar went, they want to do something that we don't want to do, so we're just going to leave this one alone. So just keep in mind, that happened. Despite this promotional stuff.
Mm-hmm. That cast photo is kind of backfired to me, because what happened is like, oh, that's actually pretty cool. Like, it looks like they're going for like Inuit actors for the Inuit characters, right? Or they're going for
Zuko looks Asian,
Zuko looks like and then like the very first thing that I saw when I scrolled the page was, did you know that the actor for Sokka faked being indigenous to get the role?
Come on! No, he didn't.
Yeah.
And did they just, what did we do? 23andMe? Did we just like Elizabeth Warren it and they went, checks out? Oh, no.
But he said he's Cherokee, and then people looked into the 3 Cherokee tribes that are in the U.S., and they're like, no, he's not. Like, all 3 of them were like, no, he's not. He's not one of us. I don't know who the fuck he is.
But he still got the gig, and by whatever point they figured it out, he was already in casting outfit, getting makeup done. That's a hustle.
Too late now.
That's a hustle. That's a hustle. He rocked it, If he spit in the thing and he's got the papers and he can just be like, let's go, then he's got the hustle going. Absolutely.
Like, man, I don't think
Octoroons get in? What are we doing? But you in there though. But you in there. You in there. Oh my God.
So I'm gonna pull out just a little fun little story, about Star Trek that a lot of people aren't aware of. So there was a character on Star Trek Voyager called Chakotay. He was the second in command, and that whole character was completely fake. The consultant that was supposed to be the native consultant was not native, and every single episode, of which there are like 6 or 7 about his native heritage, were just pulled straight from someone's ass and invented wholesale on the spot.
I mean,
and it's fucking
so
just so bad.
When they made Eagle for Killer Instinct, they filmed themselves going over and talking to everyone and native people and getting the references and the voice acting and all the different bits and pieces, and they're like, hey, look, we can show you the fucking receipts that we went and did our homework there. That's pretty incredible.
So yeah, what happened is that the actor who played Chakotay was Mexican, so they had a consultant named what was his name? I'm butchering it, but Jamake Highwater, and he was a Cherokee man, and he's like, I'll help you guys. Except his name was Jackie Marks, and he was a Jewish guy born in California.
Yeah.
Who's just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Man. You gotta like, I want to see the fucking ScarJo resume. I want to see the headshot and then just like a fucking a pie chart that shows you that she's actually part everything, so she can play any role. whatever you got, anything. She's connected to fucking what is it, Primordial Eve or whatever. Like literally, just run that hustle. Stack it up. Let's go. All right. Wow. And you know what? That sounds like something Sokka would do.
A little bit.
Maybe they went, should we fire this kid? And they're like, hold on a minute.
Hold on. Is this true to the character?
I think Sokka might get into these kind of hijinks while he was, sneaking into the Fire Nation, maybe trying to go on a date with someone cute, Maybe he might pretend to be something that he wasn't. Season 1 Sokka would absolutely do that type of shit. Hold on. Let him cook.
Yeah, that reminds me. I gotta watch Last Airbender with the wife, because I was talking about it as like the worst movie I've ever seen. She's like, well, would I be able to understand how bad it was without seeing the show? And I'm like, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Did we see that together? That fucking Last Airbender? The live action one?
I didn't see the live action one.
Oh my god, it's the fucking worst movie I've ever seen. It is unbelievable.
I've heard, but I've not seen. That being said, though, we'll have to wait and see. But casting photos aside, I always think it's very telling when you don't show the thing. It's like it's either the bending ain't ready yet or the casting ain't ready yet.
I don't think there's. This is de facto improvement. Like, I fully believe they
over M. Night Shyamalan. You can't possibly.
They could not make it worse. Just can't.
Yeah. In the meantime, though, of course, we do know that the creators are working on the grown-up Avatar, right? So
right.
There's always that to look forward to. But
I will.
Yeah. Yeah, right. They had that whole letter that they put out that was just kind of like, whatever ends up on screen, it will not be what we had envisioned or intended to make. Oh.
Just wash your hands and back away.
Damn.
Always a good sign.
Contractual obligations fulfilled, and we're out. Okay. So that aside, a couple things going on just in the video game world. This one's more just like a catch-up thing, but I guess I didn't really realize in the middle of the whole Xbox show, contextually, when we saw the reveal for Metaphor, I didn't realize that was Project ReFantazio.
Yeah. I
didn't draw that connection. So just in case anyone...
The part where it said ReFantazio Metaphor on the screen.
I must have completely... I must have been, like, missed that part, or I must have talked or something. Because I didn't... Like, the thing in my brain is the... It's not the ReFantazio part. What I remember specifically is the redhead with the knight armor thing. Mm-hmm. Like, that picture. I'm like, oh, yeah. That concept art piece with the ReFantazio thing was, like, from fucking 5 years ago or so. And just, like, I completely forgot. So, yeah. Anyways, that was... they're going to have a stream tomorrow giving more details on it. So, we'll see what's going on. But they have kind of touched on that there's going to be, like, friendship as one of the main deals, and forging bonds and such is still going to be a part of it. So it does seem to kind of be like, okay, Xbox gets their Persona.
Did you see that as of yesterday, Atlas has removed all streaming restrictions for Persona 5?
I did not see that.
Wow.
Good timing, guys.
Thanks, Atlas. Thank you, Atlas. They fucking paid me to stream that game and still had the restrictions. I can't.
Now, I'll say one thing. There are some characters in the Persona franchise who pass away that I would love to own commemorative statues of their final states.
Oh, yeah?
Throughout the Persona franchise, there are a couple of characters who die in ways that are so cool that I would love to own a commemorative statue of those moments, you know? That would be the sickest shit ever. I don't know how many other franchises that applies to, but certainly if you wanted to get your hands on a commemorative Commander Shepard corpse, unfortunately, BioWare seems to have backed down and apologized from offering up the commemorative Commander Shepard corpse of Mass Effect 2. So no, you can't get your hands on that. And to me, I'm just like, what the fuck? What is this cowardice? Why don't we go all the way in? If we can have a Laura Palmer Funko Pop, why can't we have every major emotional moment of loss commemorated in statue form?
I still can't understand why people were even upset about, like, who the fuck is out there going emotional up to bat for your fucking creative character?
I want all my corpse moments lined up on a shelf so that I can just have a big old fucking spoiler shelf and go, don't look up there until you know. But once you know, like, damn, that shelf is sick. I want it. Give me every one of those characters that I care about in those moments. Make it hurt. For anyone that doesn't know, Google the words Laura Palmer Funko Pop.
I still can't believe they did that. That's weird.
Just take that one in.
I don't want to.
No, you should though. Anyways. I suppose on the talk of corpses and such. Well, hey, here's this. Listen up. They're announcing EVERHOOD 2. And
really?
Yeah. And they're showing a trailer off, and EVERHOOD is getting a sequel. And a lot of people have pointed this out to me and have been like, dude, check it out. Have you seen it? And I'm like, yep. And here's where I'm at. I am legitimately excited for more EVERHOOD because the music and gameplay are awesome. Despite whatever qualms I may have with the ethics and morality of the plot of that game and the way it handles its philosophy, I love the actual system that is battling the music, and I super duper am down to see more of that.
Wow, I'm looking at it now. It looks cool.
And they're very, very sick with the fucking visuals and all that, like, over-the-top music into dodging and the getting into the flow state, you know? It's really fucking good at that, and I'm looking forward to that, and I want to see more of that. And I'd love to see if you know, they tackle the plot in the same way, or if they do anything else. I'm curious. I don't know how that's going to play out, but the gameplay of that shit was so fucking sick, and I'm legit curious to see more of it. So yeah, take a look at EVERHOOD 2 on Steam. You know, I've had my long drawn out saga, but the game was never the music and the gameplay have never been something to fucking just overlook. Though that shit was super cool. So I'm happy to see more of that. Yeah, I think it's like, anyway, it's like it's up for wish listing, but we'll see when it actually drops. It's also the kind of story that, like, based on those story things, doesn't leave a whole lot of room for revisiting that world. So maybe this could be a side story, prequel, alternate thing. I
Could be
don't
a
know.
completely different thing that maintains some of the connective tissue.
Could, absolutely could. There's not a whole lot of room for things afterwards, but there's infinite room for things before, I suppose. Well, technically, I guess there could be room for things afterwards if you're going with the. It's anyway, it's debatable, I suppose. But yeah, so there's that. Some time ago, we talked about how Chocobo GP came out, and it was a Chocobo racing game that a lot of people were looking forward to, and was actually apparently a fun racing game, and it was free to play, but unfortunately it was drowned in bullshit microtransactions and
Sure
egregious predatory practices and shit in the game that everyone was like, fuck this entirely, wholesale, why even bother? So it seems that after enough noise and time, Season 2 of Chocobo GP is removing microtransactions, or it did a month ago or so, and now there's a retail version of the game that you can get physically on Switch with all of the microtransactions gone and everything unlockable in-game there. So they just took what was there and turned it into a video game.
Oh, like a regular video game?
Like a regular
human?
video game, yes. Which is
Wow.
kind of similar to what I was talking last week about Mega Man Cross Dive. Same kind of thing. We took our microtransaction gacha mess and just try to turn it into a game with a bunch of unlockables. And it's like, all right, I appreciate that. If you made a game that's legitimately fun to play and then you just like baked it and buried it in bullshit, please scrape the bullshit off. There might be a fun game underneath it, you know? There's at the Capcom event, they announced Capcom Town.
They announced nothing.
Well, okay. So they announced their celebration website, Capcom Town, was basically a go here for a bunch of Capcom trivia and you can go play old games and whatever, yada yada. And the thing that was interesting that I saw that popped up today was apparently in the credits on the website, they give credit for using Ares for NES and SNES emulation. So they officially make use of the emulators for Nintendo games on their website via licensing, which I find very interesting and kind of wild, because that seems like something that would directly be against the interests of the kind of company that would, bulldog aggressively update their 3DS to stop people from doing exactly this type of thing, or the kind of people that would send people to your house over, emulation and whatnot. So Nintendo, emulators are always in that area of like, well, it's not their actual IP or any of their BIOS or property. It's an emulator entirely. If you get the games, it's on you somehow. And Nintendo always likes to skirt that line. They fucking hate that shit. Having one of their game publishers or developers actually work with them in some way seems a very unusual move for them to acknowledge that. But Ares is apparently one of the better, if not best, NES and SNES emulators out there. And yeah, you can go on and use it right now to go play Mega Man 1 if you want to fucking go to Iceman stage and fucking die in a stupid pool with a memorization block while that thing
Yeah,
fucking
Mega Man 1 fucking
beats your
sucks,
ass.
dude. Mega Man 1 is a bad game.
If you want to go and die in 2 seconds, you can do it now. But yeah, Capcom officially licensing and using an emulator, therefore probably earning Nintendo's ire somewhat. They can't be happy about that, you know. And they've I feel like begrudgingly almost did the thing where they acknowledged the fan project Mega Man Cross Street Fighter and made it pseudo official by like saying, okay, we'll host it and we'll put it out there for like a limited 2-second thing, but ultimately like they don't want to use fan projects as official things, yada yada. They don't have that Sega policy of just like, yo, everyone check out this cool fan thing / we're gonna hire the fans to come do stuff over here even or whatever. You know, so there was that, and then I feel like, yeah, then you get this, and it's minor, but it's interesting. You know, Yuzu got that whole topic with Steam contacting Nintendo over it being listed on Steam and such is out there, and you're just kind of wondering, like, if an emulator gets competent enough that it is acknowledged internally in the industry as a legitimate way to emulate a company's older games, which again, the company that made the game can do whatever they want with it, you have de facto created a reason for the emulation and emulator community to exist. You've de facto created a legitimate thing that can be and will be used in the future for stuff that companies like Nintendo that don't give a fuck about preservation, stuff that they'll overlook, stuff that they don't give a shit about. So like, the more you have these kind of like acknowledgements in a way, the more of a leg this entire thing has to stand on.
Yeah, for a big company, not for you or me.
Of course, but that's my point. It's just like, you know, the idea of like shady fucking sketchy emulators and whatever, which need to exist for historical purposes and should, because again, the companies don't give a fuck about the preservation of anything. When they actually like acknowledge, okay, you have the best way to run our game, we're gonna license this out, you know, like that's an interesting thing.
I do think it's fairly fascinating, but I see absolutely no change in any direction whatsoever ever happening for emulation.
Oh, I mean, corporate is going to be corporate no matter what. That much is clear. I guess that what it comes down to is like, if a company that owns a game that is like, you know, again, a Nintendo game or on a platform where it would otherwise be fucking lost forever or something. If someone has like an eShop game where Nintendo has delisted everything and forgotten it from memory forever, and they decide to use an emulator, you know, and implement an official like Yuzu license or something, or whatever emulator it might be, you know, to get something up and running in an official capacity, like I imagine if there were any kind of lawsuits that they had to deal with or any kind of bullshit, the ability to point to that as a official usage has some standing, you know?
No, because Capcom's usage would not, like, because Nintendo is like, because Nintendo doesn't care about what Capcom licenses out for their shit.
But if the company that makes an emulator, again, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm talking out of my ass, and I know that someone way more informed can come in and probably just chop it down at the knee. But my thought is, like, if there were a company that legitimately was like, hey, we specialize in, like, or we're offering a service which is the ability to run this old platform, this old game on this old service, and you can implement that into your thing. That's attacking a company that offers those services is a little different than attacking like a group of home brewers in a Discord somewhere and we just want to shut down their EXE. You know what I mean? Like, I feel as if, well, I don't know. I imagine, but I'm not 100% certain.
I feel like
I
don't want to call you naive because you're not naive.
.mu started out as the name implies, people that as literally emulators, and they're now a service and a publisher, right? there is a jump there in the kind of way that even Crunchyroll kind of went or whatever. But
and the jump there is whether or not they can make the rights holder money. Right? Like the emulator only becomes acknowledged once it becomes middleware out of your hands.
Yeah.
Right? And let's say you were right and that this was like a precedent for the legitimization of emulation. That would only matter if there was.
I think there's been examples of like emulators being used even unofficially without credit in some cases, you know, and there's been like bullshit over that. I want to say Nintendo had an instance where they used Visual Boy Advance, I want to say, like without credit or so at some point, and there was some. I'm vaguely kind of remembering a story from years ago on it, but
okay, I need to stop you for a second. If you're not saying that this helps legitimize emulators in some kind of legal context, then what are you saying?
Sorry, I guess the precedent, the maybe I'm just wrong about my usage of the word. I think the idea that it's like a precedent that like makes it questionably a victory in court is
no. Now you're being naive.
No, I think that's too extreme.
The victory in court comes with the amount of lawyers you throw at the case.
Yeah, I think that's too extreme of a thing. If anything, I'm looking at it and kind of thinking, you usually don't see this. That's interesting. I wonder if, like, this happening more often will have a pathway where things can go do the .mu thing more frequently from here on out if there is a reason for their emulator to exist.
The people who made these emulators could work with Capcom or become a company and offer their services for emulating old games as a business, but not for consumers. Is that the point you're trying? Like that it would legitimize the consumer emulator, or that it would offer them like a portfolio type of thing for their future endeavors?
All right, I don't know it's fine. I can't explain.
No, I'm like, what is the end goal on this?
I'm trying to badly ask if like emulator companies, Nintendo's ability to target like an emulator creator, even though there's that whole like, it's the ROMs, it's the BIOS, it's not the emulator kind of thing.
It will never go away because they have the money.
Yes. But I suppose, like, I know that they've won some cases years ago, and some there have been cases that have been won over like whether or not an emulator can exist, even though it doesn't, and if it doesn't provide any of the ROMs and so on.
They lost to Game Genie. It was the big loss.
So, again, without the full history of which cases went which way, I kind of wonder if having more instances of like being used as legitimate middleware presents something that like can, I guess, lend credence to a lawyer's defense, you know?
So here's where it gets really complicated, because emulators in North America in general, and I believe in a lot of Europe, are already legal. They're already completely legal. There's nothing even gray about using an emulator. There is gray about using somebody else's ripped BIOS out of a Nintendo Entertainment System.
Mm-hmm.
And breaking the DMCA provisions against digital protection, blah, 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 blah. They're absolutely already legal, but using them to play games is where it gets gray.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where Nintendo always goes every time. And did you put the BIOS up for the Nintendo or the Super Nintendo? You're done. Did you put up a ROM? You're done. And they go after every single one of them they can go for, and they will throw as much resources as they can spare for it. And like emulation websites never have the fucking money to fight that off. They just die.
Of course. And then the reason why it doesn't feel like it is because like if Yuzu is I'm using it because it's just in the recent news with Steam. is if a Nintendo emulator is listed on Steam, and it legally can be, but Steam is the platform holder, and they objectively decide whether or not they want to work with Nintendo, and whether Nintendo likes that or not, and whether they give a shit, you know, they can delist it, even though there's nothing illegal about it being listed, right?
Yeah, so like Yuzu could totally go up there. Or people are pointing out it was Dolphin that was supposed to go up there, right? And that got pulled down. Dolphin's totally legal. No problem with Dolphin anywhere ever. Until you use it to play fucking GameCube games, because to do that you need the BIOS, and to get the BIOS there's no legal way to get the BIOS. So if you put up Dolphin and had like a single screenshot of it showing you playing a video game on it, you're like, but how?
When the Steam Deck had its own promotional material and such. Yeah,
and also then, Dolphin's listing supposedly actually had the BIOS in the listing, which is the no-no.
No, okay. And then, yeah, Buttons is pointing out, hey, remember when Capcom got the Final Burn Alpha project shut down because they tried to license it from the team, but the guy who licensed it didn't have the authority or rights to license it, so the team disbanded. I do not, actually.
Yeah, just assume that someone will shut down your emulator shit at every day of every second. Okay.
Well, again, I try to, that's the best I could vocalize the thought, I suppose. I don't know.
Nintendo was evil. Good games, though.
In summary. So, GTA Online update removes more than 180 cars and bikes, puts some behind paywall.
Oh, license?
Seems like not licensed, but subscription for GTA Online Plus to get the things that used to be available.
That's funny because like that's a super big popular game with people who don't play other games at all.
Yeah, so basically there's the GTA Online Plus subscription that they're taking currently available content away and locking it behind that. Nearly 200 vehicles have been removed from the regular sale of GTA Online, a move that Rockstar said would streamline the shopping experience. Yeah, so it is kind of this type of story is always one that is just like, it's hard to see anything but spite because it's not even like a new thing or anything current. It's just an old thing that has a very healthy player base that is still on it, and it's still monetized in a way that, you know, is important to them. So you're going back to an older thing and you're taking a bunch of stuff that's been around forever and you're just going, maybe we can take this existing player base that's been around for years now and kind of fuck it over a little bit more.
Fucking streamline these nuts.
Maybe we can squeeze a little bit more out of you. Thanks for your loyalty is the vibe, you know? It's kind of insane when you see that happen for older games and content that's been around for that long, you know? Yeah. So... good shit all around on that. Rip anybody who's out there in the what is it, RP whatever boards,
whatever
live
man Wooly, fuck, like okay, we've had like the PUBG thing where we're totally out of touch, and the Gary's mod thing, and like the GTA RP thing was also something that I'm like, I don't get this at all. I'm gonna look into it, and I watched like multiple hours of people streaming it, sitting there going, what the fuck is I don't get it. I am all the way on the outside.
I don't get it either. I've only seen it via live stream fails clips, and I suspect that they doing it are not also really fully enjoying it as much as the people watching the people role-playing are enjoying watching it. I think it's like acting or putting on a show, and then people like watching you participate in the RP more than the RP being the goal itself. I don't know. I don't know.
It's so confusing. Like I watched like a traffic stop for like a half hour.
Yeah.
Like like just a invented traffic stop sitting around, and it's like, and like really mundane too, like really mundane.
Cops
like,
and robbers. We still love playing cops and robbers.
yeah, but I get the cops and robbers thing. I don't understand the cops and speeding ticket person. Can I hang out in my car while I pretend to check your license and registration? And
But-
you sit there listening to music. What the? It's.
But hopefully, you sitting there will either speed off and then we get a chase out of it, or we get a hilarious scene of you being super weird and funny and awkward while I write you your ticket, and both of these lead to some content.
This kind of. Should I say something that is going to sound stupid, but I think it's not stupid?
If you have to ask, you've already decided.
This feels like the video game extension of all those stupid kids who thought they had an imaginary friend.
Go on.
Do you remember when you were a kid and there were like other kids that were like, this is my imaginary friend, and you're like, are you a fucking idiot? There's no one there, you stupid, stupid child.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, no, they're right there. And I'm like, I don't want to talk to you. You seem crazy. Do you remember that?
I do.
That this is their video game for now.
Well, here's my thing, though. Since you play MMOs, you've encountered RPing clearly out in the wild much more often than I have.
Yeah.
You've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it.
You've talked to them and possibly even participated somewhat.
I have friends who do RP stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's cringe.
So, in this case, instead of, Balmung, if I got that right.
You did.
It's,
even pronounce it dead on.
It's San Andreas.
Yeah. Okay.
And people who liked being a black thug back in the day, people who liked to pretend that they were CJ and like they were like, wow, oh my God, I can't believe this is what it's like to have the experience. And I'm black and I'm gang banging with the homies.
I love the voice you're doing. It's really good.
Because that's the kid who went, oh my God, and didn't know, That's the kid that fucking had that awakening the moment they got to play fucking GTA, fucking San Andreas for the first time. And they never forgot it. And we fast forward a couple of years and here we are, right? I get to be black. This is what it's like, but I get to do it safely through the lens of my PlayStation controller, at a safe distance.
Oh.
Anyway.
Okay.
Is it not like that? Did I get it wrong?
I don't know.
Are we not looking for the exaggerated swagger?
Oh man, that quote's gonna live forever, isn't it? That one's just...
Okay, well.
And to those of you in the live audience who are saying, if my kid has an imaginary friend, I'll play along. I'll think it's stupid, but I'll play along. I'm not going to tell the kid his friend ain't there or whatever. I'll defer to other people who had their imaginary friends. It's fucking stupid, though.
Did you ever watch that Imaginary Friend cartoon?
So, okay, so when you say that, I don't know if you're just talking about staring at a wall and just having an imaginarium.
No,
or do you mean a real TV show?
I believe I'm talking about it came out when I was older. Foster's,
people are saying Foster's
Home for Imaginary Friends. It was okay. Yeah, it was younger than our time. It came out way after us. Yeah. No, never heard of it. It's a thing. It's a thing.
I've heard of it, but
Okay.
I've never seen it. Was that strange of me as a child to go like there's no one there?
I feel like I only remember one kid that like did that, and he wasn't particularly like loud and obvious about it. It was more like in conversation he would kind of sometimes make reference to somebody that just didn't exist, and that was it, you know? Like, I'm vaguely recalling, and it was such a long time ago, like, but I'm kind of vaguely recalling someone that, like, yeah, he would just, it wasn't like, hey, come meet him or anything like that. It was just like, oh, yeah, no, I asked him about this thing, or it would just come up as a little bit of a side thing.
No, the situations I'm describing is like I was in kindergarten and they're like, this is my friend, and they would point to nothing.
Yeah, no.
And like, can't you see him? Like, fucking no. No, I can't. You gaslighting me, child? I didn't say that at the time.
Yeah, that I remember early internet, the final Calvin and Hobbes was one of the early internet edits was just like Calvin growing up and basically being like, I'm not really interested in playing anymore, and then Hobbes, and then walks past Hobbes, and then Hobbes just turns back into a toy, and it's like
okay,
and then it just says the end, and it's like super fucking depressing from like whatever, like 2000s internet or even 1990s.
Wait, Hobbes is a toy?
There's a toy lion, tiger.
There's a tiger.
Toy tiger. And then the whole thing is Calvin has an imagination, and then they go on adventures because he has an imagination.
What? I thought it was a tiger. I thought it was like a magic tiger that hung out with him and talked to him.
And then what did you think it was whenever it was a little stuffed animal?
I don't know. I don't read Calvin and Hobbes.
Well,
I only.
Okay, well then there's your problem. Well, there's
okay. My wife is in Discord, like being like, "Did you think Hobbes was real? How would he have a pet tiger?" I don't know. Clifford's a giant dog because he's magic.
But if you turned the page and then Clifford went to being a stuffed animal sitting there, you'd be like, oh. Well,
I've read a lot of Calvin and Hobbes comics, and I never saw a doll.
Okay, well, yes, it's a story of a boy going on adventures with his imaginary tiger friend.
That kid needs help.
That's why he's pissing on the Nike logo.
Is that why?
Because
the tiger told him to do it?
Because you yelled at him and you made fun of him and you chastised him into shame. All right. Let's take some letters.
Hey, if you have a letter to send in, send it to castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. That's castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com.
Oh no, battery low. Please charge now.
Really?
On my headphones. Let's do this quick.
Oh.
You got one coming in. Travis says, hey, afternoon, gentlemen. I was thinking back to when I first got a GameCube, and there was a demo disc for Wind Waker. I played the demo a ton, and I loved it, but I never went out and actually got the game. I did the same with MotorStorm for PS3 and the demo kiosk at Target. Have you ever played a demo for a game and enjoyed it, but never went out and actually got the full game?
Yeah, actually, MotorStorm for the PS. Yeah,
I remember the MotorStorm one. I definitely do.
It's a really good, fun demo.
I would say I haven't had but that was a little bit of it. The most direct version of this I recall is the Walmart near me back in the day had Diddy Kong Racing set up on an N64 for years, forever, and the most Diddy Kong Racing I ever played was on that thing because nobody cared how long you stood there and played it. And, if like mom was shopping for a while or whatever, I would literally just stand there and do the whole thing. and we never. I'm like, I'm not buying Diddy Kong Racing. I don't have the money for that. If we're gonna get a game, we're getting Mario Kart. But, yeah, that Diddy Kong Racing for sure.
If this counted, I really don't think it counts. But like, I played and beat Star Fox like 6 or 7 times. Star Fox 64 at my dentist's office.
Oh wow, yeah.
Because he had a fucking N64 set up that
mine
had Star
too.
Fox on it, and sometimes it was Pod Racer.
Mm-hmm.
And that was there so that the kids would have something to play with when they're waiting for their dentist appointments, and so they kind of like going to the dentist. And I got all I needed out of Star Fox 64 going to the dentist.
The dentist near me had Tetrasphere and Mario Kart. Yeah,
that's good.
that was the thing. Good call.
It helped to like distract, because like, you know, when you're a child and you go to the dentist and you're always there at some point where some adult is being a massive pussy about their tooth extraction, and so like you're playing Star Fox and you hear
No.
and you're like, holy fuck.
No, it was, for me, it was more of a Brussels sprouts thing where you just kind of, cartoons taught you that dentists were things to be feared, because other kids in cartoons would signal that they were afraid, and then getting your teeth pulled was always a scary thing, and slamming the door especially was like an awful way to do it. So I just it was only through like outside imagery that like fear of dentists even was a thing to me.
Oh, you know what? It's funny you mentioned it, because I actually, so it's weird. I never developed a fear of dentists, but what I did develop was a distrust of dentists, because if I got a cavity filled or I got a root canal, I'd be like, I can still feel it. I'm crying. I'm a child because I can definitely still feel the drill.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, nah, no, you can't. And I'm like 25, and I discover that people who with red hair need 30, 40, 50% more anesthesia, and that I was not crazy, and that my dentists gaslit me by saying I couldn't feel the drill going into my fucking teeth, and I totally could feel it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's one way. I developed a little bit of distrust, but it was a very simple process. I was about 7, maybe 8 years old when my cousin showed me Dr. Giggles.
Yeah.
I still remember the scene of the suction cord going into the mouth with the fucking blades on it, and then you see the suction noise, and then all the foam turns to blood.
That is, but I don't like it.
Oh, Dr. Giggles? It's a like early 90s fucking horror film with an evil dentist that kills people.
All right.
His name was Dr. Giggles. That was the thing. Yeah. That was
all right.
It was pretty popular. I remember that was yeah. That was
that'll fuck you up. That'll get you.
All right. Here, let's take one from X says, "Hey Woolgy and Patwer, what are cases of real life events being the most appropriate thing to happen to a character or work? My example, in 2018, there was an anime called Hitoribochi, starring Hitori Bochi, a pun on all alone, a girl with crippling social anxiety who has to make friends with all of her classmates and be reunited with her childhood friend. In 2022, an entirely different anime called Bocchi the Rock, starring Hitori Gojo, was nicknamed Bocchi, and its release is about a girl with crippling social anxiety who joins a band as lead guitarist. A running gag in the 2018 show was that Hitori Bocchi being worried about being forgotten by her friends, but now the 2022 anime became incredibly popular, and it has eclipsed the 2018 show. I feel supplanted in pop culture by a different, being supplanted in pop culture by a cooler, different Bocchi is the most Hitori Bocchi thing that could have happened to Hitori Bocchi.
Oh, I see.
So
my go-to right now is everything that's happening with Disco Elysium.
Disco Elysium. That's why I brought it up, because that's the definite answer. And the most disco thing that could happen is the legal fight for Disco Elysium and the bullshit therein. Yep. All the commentary that game goes into on capital, on fucking the nature of the financial world and the political side of things. All of that just gets completely wrapped up into the Estonian fucking mafia court case shenanigans, with Disco Elysium itself potentially being possibly never happening again with the same team because of all the legal fights. Yeah, that's a good example for sure. It's Disco, baby. And one last one coming in. Hello, funny names I'm not smart enough to think of right now.
That works for me, man.
In the style of Hustle or Scam, I want to ask offensive or funny. Hypothetically, I, a white guy, go to a costume party wearing a normal suit, but full blackface. And on the lapel of the suit is a Canadian flag pin because I'm actually going as Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Does this fit the Tropic Thunder rule? Is this funny enough? Is this best left to the funny thought experiment? Is it offensive or is it funny? Sincerely, a different Justin.
It's very brave.
Justin, I want you to listen to me very carefully.
No, don't listen to him.
Look at over here, this side of the screen.
Don't.
Justin, do it.
Don't trust him.
Do it.
Do not trust him. He is not trustworthy.
Do it.
Wooly.
I am giving you permission.
No, don't do it. No.
To do it.
Don't listen. This is the devil's bargain.
You should really do it.
You are being the actual devil right now.
I'm giving you the permission.
No, don't do it.
To do it.
I think that's a bad idea.
I think it's a great idea. Send pictures. Post it everywhere.
Yeah, okay. I knew it. Yeah.
Prove it and let me know when it happens.
It doesn't actually make any sense, though. Here's my problem with it, is that, like, Justin Trudeau did not dress up as himself in blackface. He dressed up as, like an Arab guy,
Aladdin,
or like a black guy.
He was Aladdin.
No, wait, there was the one where it was just him in a white T-shirt and jeans.
One time it was Aladdin. Another time it was just a brown guy. So one time it was a character. Either way, that's not the point. The point is do it and post pictures. I'm surprised you haven't done it already. That's what's up. Absolutely. Co-signed. Do it. Straight to Facebook. Never mind, get Twitter in there, get the Reddit in there, all that, but make sure you get Facebook in there as well. You want all your direct IRL mutuals getting in on that.
Yeah,
Tag
you
him.
You should not.
Tag him in it.
You should not trust this.
Pop it right the fuck off. Do it.
You should not.
All right.
You should not do this. Don't trust Wooly.